Greetings and salutations, and welcome to episode number 10 of Two Dummies That Just Watch, a sports podcast between friends. I am one of your hosts, Will Hernandez, and I am joined, as always, by my co host, Mr. Lee J. Perilla. Lee J, I see that you did not lose any brain cells last night watching the debate. So I think we're good to go then today, right?
Hi guys, I missed y'all.
Yeah. We're uh we recording late because I was at a conference this past week and I was in Times Square for 3 nights. And I'm going to get into that a little later on as part of our halftime topic, but yeah, being in Times Square, being in that area for 3 nights is it's something else. It is an awful thing, just to put it shortly. But if you're
Before,
watching the
no,
no,
so
go ahead.
go
No,
ahead,
no,
real
no.
quick.
Go ahead. Go
I should
ahead.
have warned you about this before, but real, I wanted to do something real quick. Um, in honor of today,
Sure.
you know, and everyone that knows me, and I don't want to get on my soapbox. That's not what I'm here for. I just want to remember the lives lost on 9/11. For those that don't know, obviously, who don't know me, I was there that day, and I'm fortunate enough to be alive today. And today's a little bit tough for me, but I get through it. Even 23 years later, I still think about it every day, and it's a little worse on the actual day.
Mm.
But there's a story, quick story I want to say, because if there's anything I get out of this podcast, it would be it will be, I guess is the word gratifying. It would be awesome if I actually got to see the person that I think saved my life that day. And it's actually someone I grew up with. We played basketball with him. I don't know if you knew him too well. His name was Sasha.
No,
Rob
I
knows
don't.
him. Charlie knows him. Walter and Richie know him. His cousins were Walter and Jonathan. They grew up on Kent Street or Kent Avenue. Kent Street, right? You think I would know, being in Greenpoint all my life. Um, Long story short, after the first plane hit one of the towers, I was in an ambulance. I jumped out. I was freaking out. I just wanted to get the hell out of there.
Right.
Mind you, I haven't seen Sasha in about, this was 2001. I probably hadn't seen him in about 7 or 8 years. I haven't heard from him. I only saw him in Milton, play basketball. You know, he was a good friend, yada, yada, yada. All of a sudden, somebody grabs me from the smoke and is saying my name. I thought it was Rob because Rob worked there that day. Fortunately for him, too, he got home that day.
Well,
I
I didn't.
just,
Wow, I never knew that.
I
Holy
just took a
shit.
little bit longer. I took the longer
Yeah,
route.
gotcha.
So someone grabbed me. Unbeknownst to me, I turned around. It was Sasha. I hadn't seen this kid. Well, I think he's a couple years older than me, so I shouldn't say kid. In, like I said, years, years. He said, "Leji, what's going on? You're bleeding from your head. You're bleeding from your eye. Blah blah blah." He says, "Come with me." So he takes me to what was a quick triage they had, which I didn't know. I'm
Mm,
all delirious. I don't know what's going on.
sure.
So he takes me to this triage. He tells the person in charge. He said, "Listen, this my friend. He's bleeding from the head. Blah, blah, blah. Take him." So I was like on the first run actually of people
Oh,
that they were
wow.
getting out of there. So it was me. There was about they stuffed about 7 of us into that ambulance. I was one of them.
Wow. Damn.
I was like, "You're not coming. Have you seen Rob? I don't know like where he's at. I'm delirious. I'm asking these questions." He's like, "No, I'll find him. Don't worry about it. Just go." I would probably say, I don't know, my recollection is correct, maybe 5, 7 minutes up the West Side Highway. We heard over the radio the first tower fell.
Wow.
For years, I've tried to look for him online, Facebook, Instagram, maybe run into his cousins in Greenpoint again. Never have. I swear to you, I think because of him, I know because of him, I'm alive today.
Mm,
And like I said, anything I get out of this podcast, no, forget about the money. I don't live like that. Whatever, whatever. If anybody knows him, if he's doing well, it would be gratifying to just know how he's doing. Maybe meet up with him one day, tell him thank you, and give him a big ass hug. So if anybody gets to share this story when we share it during the week, when Will does what he has to do or does what he does best, you could contact me, reach me. Like I said, his name is Sasha. I don't remember his last name. His cousins were Walter and Jonathan. They grew up on Kent and Greenpoint. You could reach me at LJ Parilla, PARRILLA 1977 at gmail.com. Again, LJ Parilla 1977 at gmail.com. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that. I knew some of it. I just didn't know that story, that part of that story. Who was Rob working for? I'm curious.
Say we work for the same company. It was the
Oh
security
shit!
company. Yeah.
I didn't know. Oh wow, I had no idea that he worked there as well.
And I
Yeah, that's
think, not to carry this on because
yeah. No, you're good.
but I think it, I've had a lot of stuff happen to me in my life. Not that I'm better than anyone because of that stuff. Doesn't matter.
Mm,
I just think that this day hits a little bit more, and still today's day, it feels brand new because that was the closest I was to death.
yeah,
And 23 years later, bad, good, or indifferent, I was able to experience 23 years of life that I question every day. What if it would have went the other way?
yeah, exactly.
And I'm about to be 47 in a couple weeks, and I appreciate every day I wake up. And that, that's it.
Even though you've got hit by a car twice, but
That was
see now
the least
now
of
we
my
got to start the
worries.
jokes.
We always got to make light of it. I don't want to get too serious because it was serious enough for me every year and every day
Right.
on this
Yeah.
day. So, that's it. Thanks for listening, guys. If you get to share this, I appreciate it because it would be awesome if I would get to, maybe meet him if everything's going well.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I'll have to try to clip that out as best as I could. By the way, Instagram, you need to get your shit together because you only let 90 seconds go for a reel. I think it's kind of ridiculous, especially when you want to share
But here's the
like
thing.
stuff like
Didn't
this.
they extend like how many pictures you could add to a thing now? Remember, it used to be only 10 multiples.
Yeah, you could add pictures, but with video, they cap
So
it at
now
90.
now let's work on that now.
Yeah, they cap it at 90 seconds, which is I think is so stupid. It doesn't make any sense to me. If anybody out there knows a way to extend that by any chance, I would please reach out. You guys got the email, two dummies sports podcast at gmail.com. And the two's a number, guys. It's a number. A couple of y'all were asking about that last week when we did the football picks. So yeah, and shout out to everybody that I mean overall it was only 6 of you, but
It's better than
honestly,
zero.
I was just about to say 6 is fucking better than 0. So for those of you who are in our little football pool, it is on. So I still have to work on getting all that into a Google sheet. And don't worry, we're not fucking, we're not Russian. We're not going to change the change the picks that are in. So this is good. We're running a clean campaign here.
Don't worry, you're
So
not gonna get hacked like Shannon Sharp.
oh, I didn't hear about that.
Oh God.
Did he get hacked? Seriously?
That's what he's saying. I guess a sex tape leaked. Here's my thing. Who cares?
Wait, a sex tape with
I
him?
think of him of
Oh my
his
god.
got leaked. I don't care for that kind of stuff. I don't really care.
Right.
So I guess I don't know what the video looks like or what it's whatever.
I don't want to know what it looks like at
So
all. Oh my god.
I'm just like,
That's
who
ridiculous.
cares?
Yeah, I don't
You know what
care.
he was doing in that sex video?
I don't want to know. Do
Having
I want to know?
sex.
Right.
Maybe that's most of what
but
people can say that you were doing.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god. All right. This is a sports podcast, by the way. Come to you each and every week. This week we're coming to you on a Thursday. Next week, the plan. Wait, first of all, before I go on, are you going to the Jets game on Thursday? Next Thursday?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
We discussed that in the bar on Sunday, but
Gotcha.
between You being
sir,
frustrated with the Giants and us drinking, you
sir,
probably forgot.
sir.
Yeah,
So
between because we go into Milwaukee the following week, and I just don't want to
yes,
spend that money. The tickets went up in
yeah,
price. I'll just
yeah,
stay home. I don't feel like traveling Thursday night from that dump of an air condition
yeah. I get it.
back home.
So this is what we'll do next week, guys. So next week we'll record 2 episodes. We're gonna record Tuesday. This way we can get all the games in. Uh, Monday night game. We'll publish on Wednesday, and then what we'll do is we'll record again Thursday night as late as we can. I don't want to record too late, but late probably in the third quarter of the Thursday night game. Publish that on Friday. But the following week, since we're going to be in Milwaukee later in the week, we're only going to record 1 episode the following week, and then starting the first week in the October is when we'll get the full 2 episodes a week. So please look forward to that. As I've mentioned before, we are on all the social medias under Two Dummies Sports Podcast. So X/Twitter, Instagram, Threads, YouTube. Thinking about Facebook right now. I know they say not to be on too many places, but whatever. I don't care. I've got nothing better to do. So we'll see about that. Also, I know. Also, one more thing. So apparently the hosting platform that we use just announced that you can get a more enhanced website for the podcast. So if whoever has a podcast on Buzzsprout, that's what we use. Apparently they've enhanced their website. So I think I got to look into it maybe this weekend, but I think starting next week we might actually have a website you can go to. So we'll see how that all plays out. All right, enough of this because I've been holding in some stuff since the last time we recorded because a lot has fucking happened. So
And he's about to use the bathroom.
yeah. Obviously, we are coming to you on a Wednesday night, 3 days after the Giants shit the bed, 2 nights after the Jets shit the bed. Granted, it's funny, we both picked the Giants to win, and we both picked the Jets to lose. And the Jets did lose. We're going to get into that. But I want to ask you, let's start with the Jets first. What the hell happened on Monday?
Defense. I don't know what was going on with that defense. Ton of holes in the secondary, poor tackling. That running back ran rug shot all over that defense.
I know, the backup running back.
I don't do the woulda, coulda, shoulda, but let's just do it real quick for
Sure.
how everyone. The first quarter probably went like how everyone thought maybe the season would go. And what do I mean by that? Score wise,
Sure.
meaning here's the Jets' first three drives of the game. Number one, remember the drop pass by Lazard? That was on third down.
I wasn't watching then. I don't forget, I didn't watch
Right.
until
You were
halftime.
so
Yeah.
I think it was the very first drive the Jets had. It was for a first down. He dropped the pass. Who knows? Drive could have kept on going. Whatever. We don't know.
Right.
Second possession, Brees Hall fumbles. 49ers score, I believe, a field goal on that.
I saw the highlight of that. Yeah.
The third one, that's when they had that long, sustained drive, and then Hall gets into the end zone. I think at that point it was 7-6.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then the quarter ended. It was second quarter. Then everything just blew up.
Yeah.
There was no pass rush. There was a couple terrible penalties. Overall, the offense, I mean, it wasn't great, but the pass protection was pretty good. I don't know if you saw that from what you watched.
I did. Yeah.
Was pretty good, which was a problem last year and, recent years.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you this. Watching Aaron Rodgers he wasn't 100%. I don't think he was. Maybe he's still thinking about the Achilles, whatever the case may be. He's older. He's 40 years old. He's not going to do what he did when he was 30.
Sure.
But I'll say this: that offense is like nothing a Jets fan has seen for the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Right.
So now they just get on the right, because a lot of it too has to be like they haven't played with each other.
Hmm.
Practice is not the same as a game. So
Right.
once they start getting on the same page, I think it'll start clicking. Brees Hall will do his thing. Garrett Wilson had a pretty decent game, nothing crazy. Alan Lazard had a pretty good game, and remember, he had a terrible year last year.
Hmm.
So I'm not down like a lot of these Jets fans. I look at it differently. Yes, the defense needs to shape up. Obviously,
Bro, 401 yards.
that was I can't
That's
defend that.
crazy.
Yeah, I can't defend that. What am I supposed to say to that?
401, 180 on the ground.
I can't defend that. There's no defending that. But these these receivers were wide open, man. It was disgusting.
No, I saw in the second half. Yeah.
So that's my take on the Jets game.
Let's get into a couple of things a little bit deeper because I don't want to like rush through these looking over both these teams. And you mentioned Rodgers. So I'm sitting there in the bar. I didn't get to watch the first half because, work shit happened. Um I think there was a pass in the third quarter. I forget who it was, but the receiver ran a route down the left sideline, top of the
Oh, the
screen.
deep pass.
The deep was that the one
And
where
and
it
he
kind
stopped
of
running.
like no. This was one that was caught. I think that I
Okay.
think it looked like I can't even describe it, but I think the way he led him, maybe it was the deep pass. I don't know, but it looked like he squeezed that pass in a very small space, and it didn't look real. And I thought to myself, see, that's it right there. Like, this is why you get a guy like that because he can make those type of passes. Now, I wasn't watching in the first half, so really can't speak to what I didn't see, and I'm not going to. But yeah, I think like the second half, I was kind of waiting for the comeback to happen, you know, just
I
because it's
wasn't. I
him.
was that defense just looked terrible.
Well, that's the thing. I once you figure out kind of what the Jets were working with the defense, then everything kind of went out the window, and I mean that was a wrap. By the way, 70 plays. The 49ers
Yeah,
ran
70.
70
I think
plays.
the Jets ran like 40 something.
49. Yeah.
Almost
Yeah.
double.
49. Time of possession for the 49ers with 38-40. Jets only had the ball for 21 minutes and 20
Yep.
seconds. That's you're not gonna I mean, right there. The low level stats, the baseline stats definitely tell the
I had a
story.
small glimmer of hope when the 49ers jumped off sides and it was a free play.
Yes, right.
And
I
Lazard
thought the
ran
same
that
thing.
seam route, ran that
Yes.
seam right down the middle,
Yeah.
a vertical route,
Y-
and he just threw it
yep.
to him. Because
Yeah.
that's what they always say. If they're offside, you got a free play, just throw it down the
Right.
field.
Just throw it down the field. Exactly.
And
And it was
that
a
thing
great
was, that
pass.
was beautiful. I
Yeah.
damn near cried watching that. Because no one who did that for us in the most recent years. And those are the
I can't think of it.
things.
Yeah.
So there was a small glimmer of hope. And then once they just here's the thing, too, guys. Everybody, the roof's not caving in. It's like you don't even want to. I know I'm not one for excuses. I'm not. They got their asses kicked, especially the defense. But we're acting like they played like some terrible. They played the 49ers.
Yeah.
The
That's true.
49ers have been good. That team has been together for a long time. They haven't won the Super Bowl yet, but they've been in three out of the last what? Garoppolo, they made two with Purdy. If I'm not
Mm,
mistaken. Oh no, not two with Purdy. He got hurt. They made it last year.
Made it
So
last
at
year.
least they've been to two Super Bowls with Shanahan with relatively the same players, and then picking up players throughout that progress, and then drafting players. This team is not. They're a great team that have played together for a long time. That has a lot to do with it. That doesn't
Hmm.
excuse the Jets for coming out and shitting the bed on defense. No, but that's
Yeah.
part of it. So
So they
I just,
lost.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
No, I was going to say they lost the Super Bowl in 2019. Don't
That was with
forget.
Garoppolo, correct?
Yeah.
That was
Yep.
what? That was this guy's first Super Bowl?
Uh, Shanahan's
No, no, no.
or
Who they lost to?
yes, it was. It was. Yeah, it
Mahomes.
was Mahomes. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, listen, they've 2021 lost the conference championship. 2022 lost in the conference championship. I forget what they did in 2023, but oh no, 2023 lost in the Super Bowl.
In
So
Super
there you
Bowls.
go.
Yeah. So it was two out of the last four was that 19? So that's like 5 years.
Yeah, two of the last 5 years they went to
But
the
then
Super
it's
Bowl.
not like they didn't make the playoffs the other years. NFC Championship.
They were there.
And just look at
Yeah.
the rosters. They've probably been relatively, Kittle's been there a long time. Debo Samuel, when they drafted Ayuk, he's been there a few years now. Come on, man. They got Trent Williams in a trade. He's been there. He re-signed. McCaffrey, even though he didn't play. That team's a stud.
So my question to you now, going into Sunday against Tennessee, are you worried about the defense going
Nah, I'm not.
forward?
I'm not. I think they'll get their stuff together. They'll figure it out. I think they're gonna do well on Sunday. I mean, Tennessee's not nothing to turn your head at them. They actually got a pretty good defense, pretty good
Mhm.
offensive line. But we also what Will Levis did last week. I
Yeah.
don't I don't know what that dude was doing. I think they need the Jets. I think the key is going to be they need to pressure the quarterback. However, they're going to do that, and they need some turnovers.
Mm.
They shouldn't lose to Tennessee on
That,
Sunday. I'm
that and
sorry.
that yeah, I mean they're actually favored on the road by 3.5, and we'll
Yep, by
get
three
into
and a
that
half.
later. We're gonna get into like picks for the week. Um, oh god, I was gonna just say something about the defense, and I completely freaking blanked on it. One other thing too I want to ask you though, and I think this might have to do with maybe a larger trend in the league that I was especially noticing in that Chiefs game. Do you think that the lack of playing time during the preseason is hurting some of these teams? Because you talked about cohesion and you talked about guys not playing together. Do you think that is a factor at all for some of these teams heading into week one? And we kind of saw like that game on Friday was sloppy as shit. Despite what you want to say about the field conditions, I get that because they were terrible. But there was also like some sloppiness to that game as well, and we saw some sloppiness on Thursday in the Thursday game. And obviously, I didn't watch a lot of the Jets game, but you're telling me you didn't feel like they were like cohesive. So I mean, is the lack of a preseason play a factor? Do you think?
I would probably lean towards no, just because they still don't play enough of the games in the preseason.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah,
Rodgers would have played what he would have played, maybe a quarter. They play like two drives and then they're out.
yeah.
I don't know what you're really benefiting from that. I don't think there's a benefit from that.
Hmm.
I think you just got to get your head out of your ass. Like I told you, when we did the thing last week with the Jets and Giants and picking their record, I prefaced what I said. This isn't more what I felt they were going to do.
Yeah.
My prediction was based off what I've gone through for the last couple of years with, let's just say, Zach Wilson. The rumor was teammates hated him. They made shirts of a other guy, Mike F and White, blah blah blah.
Right. I remember that.
Everything
Yeah.
was an excuse.
Yeah.
We don't have this. How can Salah win without a quarterback? How can the offense win without everything? We heard everything. That no longer exists to me.
Mm.
That's over.
Yes.
And that's why I preface my record based on everything that the fans and the team, not directly, but when you create a shirt, Mike F and White for the backup quarterback and
What you
not
think?
Zach Wilson, that tells me all I need to know about that locker room and who
Yeah.
they have faith in.
Yeah.
The kid is gone now. It's over. Whatever happened on Monday, 49ers, great team, good team, it's over. That cannot
Hmm.
happen anymore. Get your head out of your ass and go win football games. You should win at least the next 4 games. I'll leave it at that.
And we talked about that. We talked about that, sir. No, but I want to ask you about the Jets fans being idiots. Because you told me.
It's pretty much to what I just. It's just pretty much to what I said.
Okay, I just want to make sure
Listening on the
we covered
radio,
that. Yeah.
looking online, the sky's falling. Robert Saleh, 18 and 30, 18 and 34. Listen, to me, it's an oxymoron. You can't tell me as a fan we can't win as a team because we have Zach Wilson, but then on the other hand, look at Robert Saleh's record. He needs to be fired. Does that make sense to you?
No,
Because it
absolutely
doesn't make
not.
sense to me. I will tell you this. If it was any other situation and Robert Saleh was 18 and 34, because that's what his record says, he would have been fired. I
Yes.
agree. Is it fair? Probably not. But that's not what the football is. It's a business.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one reason Robert Saleh and probably Joe Douglas still have jobs. One reason. Aaron Rodgers.
Right. He was hurt last
He
year.
got hurt last year. He was out. Do you think maybe Robert Saleh's record would have been 18 and 34 if Aaron Rodgers played last year? They won 7 games. And everybody says it's based off the defense. We know that's not true because you have to score. It's not like the defense stopped and scored every play. Offense still had to score somehow. Yes, did the defense keep them in a lot of games? Turn a field and all of that. Yeah, but the offense still won 7 games without Aaron Rodgers.
Pretty good.
So it doesn't make sense to me with all these negative things you said that now you only picked them to win 9 games. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
That's the part that doesn't make sense. So like I said, they shit the bed this year with Rodgers and everybody they have, according to all the fans and even the team, everybody's got to go. I'm the first person to say it. It's over.
Well, that's a nice transition into talking about something that should be over.
Oh, boy. Sit back, ladies and gentlemen.
My fucking God. You know what? I'm going to play something.
Let's play.
No, we're not going to play a game, which we didn't do this week. But I want to play to you the clip of Tiki Barber that you sent me, and because I want people to hear this. And I
saw it, but then my cousin resent it to me.
I just listened to this before we started, and I almost screamed because, and you know why? Because he is saying shit in this clip that you and I have been saying for years, and I don't understand how people don't fucking see it. Okay, stand by.
Like Daniel Jones is their answer at quarterback. And I know that's not saying a ton, but it's saying enough. Daniel Jones has to be better, otherwise he will not be the starting quarterback for the New York Giants. And people want to put a timeline on this.
Oh, I need to start this from the beginning. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. It was at the end. Here we go.
That I saw made by Daniel Jones, that I also saw from Caleb Williams, that I saw from Bo Nix, that I saw from Jaden Daniels. The difference is those guys are rookies, and Daniel Jones is in his 6th year in the NFL. And there are things like reading wrong through progressions,
which we've talked about.
Things like not taking the easy throw,
which we've talked about.
Things like looking flustered in the face of clean pockets. Those are all things that Daniel Jones needs to and has to do better. Otherwise, this Giants team is going absolutely nowhere. Right now, there is not a fan. There is not a pundit. There is probably not a lot of people in that locker room that feel like Daniel Jones is their answer at quarterback. And I know that's not saying a ton, but it's saying enough. Daniel Jones has to be better, otherwise he will not be the starting quarterback for the New York Giants. And people want to put a timeline on this. I'm not saying do it today. I'm not saying do it next week, but I'm giving him a quarter of the season. There were mistakes.
A quarter? We are in year 6 of this. And you've got somebody like Tiki Barber sitting there and saying, I'm going to give him the quarter of the season. Motherfucker. We've seen this for
Not too long ago, Tiki Barber also said he'd rather take Daniel Jones over Dak Prescott.
Oh, bro, they were killing him in the comments in that video. absolutely killing him. Oh, didn't you say you're going to take Daniel Jones over Dak over Dak Prescott? Blah blah blah. Listen, guys, I don't have to really go through what we saw on Sunday because it was a fucking embarrassment. And Lee J and I are sitting there in the bar, and he was laughing in some ways. Listen,
He
the
might have
thing
been
is,
laughing too.
we both picked them to win on
Yep.
Sunday. And the thing was, I think you told me at one point, you looked at me and said, I didn't expect this.
No, I didn't expect it. Daniel
Yeah.
Jones and all. I'm not gonna lie, everyone. I did say that. Those were my exact words.
And here's the thing. There's something else I want to read that I sent to you because sorry, Tiki. I gotta get off of you there. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Because the offensive line actually played well on Sunday. And we were told, Lee J's putting up his hands because he's like, we told you guys. So we kept on saying, give him an offensive line, give him receivers. Guess what? He's got both of those things. Here's the stat from Pro Football Focus, which does a lot of analytics, but it does bear out. Daniel Jones was pressured on 18 dropbacks yesterday, according to PFF. This came out on Monday. Shout out to G-Men Galaxy. This is where the account this came from. PFF had him responsible for 38.9, so 7 of the 18 of those pressures, the third highest rate in the NFL in week 1, and 3 sacks. Guess who got sacked the most in week 1? Daniel Jones. The O-line was responsible for 55.6% of those pressures, the second lowest rate in the NFL. Listen, I'm not a fucking expert when it comes to offensive line play, but I also sent you another clip of him throwing that interception that sent people to the exits. If you look at the pocket during that play, there was no fucking pressure. But you know what he did? What he always fucking does. He kept on looking at that receiver, never looked to the left, never looked to the right, was looking right at that guy, and guess what happened? It got intercepted. Game over. Goodbye. Everybody's going to the parking lot. Like you say, how many more fucking chances are they going to give this guy? I just don't understand. Sir, go ahead, because I don't even know what to say anymore about this guy.
And I feel like he got sacked a couple. I think how many times you said he got sacked? 3 times.
Three times. Yes.
I think a couple of those sacks wasn't even offensive line because that's what they're going to
No, it
automatically
wasn't.
think, right?
Yeah,
It's because
it
he held
wasn't.
on to the ball too freaking long.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
And he's like, he didn't know what to do. And I feel like, I think Carl had mentioned it, and I kind of agree with him. There was a 3rd and 1, and they called a QB to the right.
Yes.
That tells me that they have no confidence in what he could do. They rather just say, you know what, F it, let him run. At least he's not throwing it, and let's see what happens. That's sad. They're telling you within the game what they think about him. And I feel like that interception that he threw, that the linebacker caught coming blitzing off the edge.
Oh my God.
I feel like that's not the first time he's done that. You know how difficult that is to do as a quarterback? That's not a compliment.
No, it's not.
I feel like I've seen him throw that exact interception before.
Yeah.
I got deja vu seeing that. I could be wrong. I just feel like he's done that more than twice.
Dude, it happened in the preseason if you forget.
And I just like, you know, there's not much space between that blitzing linebacker and the QB.
Right.
And to intercept that's crazy to me.
Dude, there was one thing that they said for that particular play. And I think it was actually Boomer, because I was watching the morning show when I was getting ready to go down to the conference on, I think it was Monday morning or Tuesday morning. And he said, and it's like, it kind of makes sense. And he would know, right? This guy would know as a former quarterback. He said that it looked like they knew what was coming on that. Because if you go back and watch that play and they were showing it as he was talking, that guy never dropped back into coverage.
No.
He knew, I think he knew that ball was going to be a screen, and he just read it intercepted, and then that was just like
That
the beginning of a
could
long day.
could that also be part of by the way the Braves lost? Could it
Oh, good.
could that also be part of like on the offense coordinator, Brian Daboll, because he's calling
Well,
plays now
let's not. Let's.
where that play looked similar throughout the game, so
Right.
they knew what was happening. Could that be part of it? I don't know.
It
It
could
could.
be.
I didn't see any kind of. All I heard was Daboll's calling plays. Thank God. But I didn't see anything special.
No, I did not.
And I'm not a mastermind. I don't claim to be an offensive coordinator. I don't claim to be a head coach. I'm not. I'm just going by what I see relative to the title of our show.
Sure.
And I didn't see anything crazy or like, oh my God. Yep, he should be calling plays.
Yeah. Well, to that point, there is one thing I will say that I think that that either the neighbors had kind of said it, and then it kind of came out later on. Apparently, they did call plays down the field, but
I did
Jones
hear that.
never threw the ball down there. So, what does that tell me? Is he not making the right read? Is he going to his checkdowns too quickly? Because he doesn't have the confidence in himself to throw the ball downfield. Neighbors still managed one. I think it was like almost 70 yards on 6
Yeah, almost
catches.
70.
So
Yeah, yep.
it's just like, oh shit, the guy, he's going to get his catches. But you also wonder, it makes me wonder what those plays were that were downfield plays that Jones didn't even bother with. And I need to go back. I just didn't have time this week. I want to go back and look at the coaches tape on NFL Plus because I pay for that this year. I just kind of want to see what that looked like, if they even show something like that. I don't know.
Could this be also a factor just because you called the deep play? Because I don't want to discredit Jones at all. He's still an NFL
Sure.
quarterback. He's still got to be. He still has to see what he sees.
Yeah.
So when you go back, it would be interesting to tell you tell me what you see. My question is that yes, they called deep long plays, but was it safety double teaming?
That's the thing. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, you could have called the deep play. Did you still want him to throw the ball regardless? Then that's a different answer.
Right.
Because
That's
you could have
true.
called the deep play, but Jones looked at that deep play and said he's being doubled. I'm not throwing that.
Right.
Unless, like I said, but he didn't state it that way, where he said,
Right.
I didn't care
Right.
if
That's
he was
the
double
thing.
teamed or not, just throw it.
Yeah.
And let him make a play. Meaning neighbors, the receiver, whoever you want to make a play. He didn't
Exactly.
phrase it that way. He just
Right.
said, I call deep walls, which kind of is telling me you're throwing your man under the bus.
Oh, they absolutely are. They absolutely are. I mean, what else could you say with that? I mean,
I think it got to a point where I stopped paying attention, probably toward the latter part of that game, and I was just worried about the beer.
Listen, I have them winning next week, believe it or not, because they're playing the Commanders, and you think, Jesus Christ, if they don't win that game, then
he actually plays well against it. That's one team he actually plays well against in his career.
Oh, can't fucking wait. By the way, people are watching a video. I don't have a hat on. So I decided,
oh boy,
that I should do something.
Is this an NFL team?
It is an NFL team.
Hold on. Don't pull out the hat. Don't pull it out.
Okay.
Oh my God. You would never wear a team of a team. You would never wear a hat of a team to despise. So I know
never.
That's off the table.
Yes.
Folks, what I mean by that is he hates the Cowboys, he hates the Eagles. For example, he wouldn't. That's the troll hat that's about to go on his head. There's neither one of those teams.
There's one more team too. They play in New England.
Oh, the Patriots. Yep. Oh man.
You're gonna laugh when you see it, and I'm gonna just troll everybody with it. I'm gonna troll everybody.
Is it NFL?
Yeah, it's NFL. It's NFL. Let me know when you're done.
Daniel Jones. I'm gonna say the Buffalo Bills. Yeah! Oh yeah, baby!
The only team that plays in fucking New York, the Buffalo Bills.
Yes, I was right.
That's a nice guess. Holy shit. That's a good
Because
guess.
it's partly you're partly trolling Dayball with that,
I am
and
partly
the
trolling
Giants
Dayball.
because what we heard was he's going to come here and do what he did for Josh Allen for Daniel Jones, and it hasn't happened yet.
Not happening yet. The good thing about this hat is I can get away with wearing this in New York because there are actually a lot of Buffalo Bills fans in this
Yeah,
area.
they're there. They're
Yeah.
around.
So, by the way, Lee J has a Cleveland Browns hat.
Oh, you know I'm trolling.
No, I know you are.
Hard body karate, baby.
So let's get into some of the other NFL stuff. Because a lot of, and I tried to do this in a way. By the way, can we go back to the Malik Neighbors jersey? What was that all about? Because I missed that.
Oh, so this guy called into damn, which show did he call into? I don't remember. One of the shows on Monday. And I don't know if it's true, and I'm trying to find out. He said he went to the game, to the Giants game, I guess went to one of the stores, well, a couple of the stores in the stadium, and there was no Malik Neighbors jerseys for sale. I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I find that hard to believe.
I was like, maybe he didn't go to every store. Maybe his kid was with him, being annoying. He wasn't really concentrating.
Were they sold out?
I don't know. He said he went to. Damn, did he say 2 stores? I don't know how many stores he went to.
Yeah.
All I know is the store that he did go to, he said didn't have any Neighbors jerseys for sale. On sale, I should say. I'm trying to find that out. So when I heard that, I was like, that can't. There's no way.
That does not sound right.
That doesn't make sense to me. That would be your number one seller in the stadium this year.
Well, I mean, it could be the fact that it was sold out, that people came in and already bought them.
Yep.
So I don't know. No,
I just would love to see if I could actually find that out.
You know why
somehow.
I think that? Yeah, I don't believe that because you know what? They had fucking DeVito jerseys almost right away. I don't believe that. There's no way. Anyway, so some of the things from week 1 that I had written down here, and some of them had to do with our storylines. So Pats won by some fucking miracle, even though Joe Burrow didn't look all that great.
He was home alone.
Yeah. Dude, he looks terrible with that hair. Oh my God. Now here's your thing here. And you called it. Justin Fields started in week 1 because Russell Wilson was hurt and they didn't score a touchdown. Let's put that 6 field goals, 18. They scored 18 points on 6 field goals.
Still got him in field goal range somehow.
But
the offense.
They won. And you and I kind of talked about this a little bit, I think, on Monday through text. I mean, what do you do? Do you keep Justin Fields out there now? You have to, right?
I saw on Instagram today that the stronger possibility that Fields starts again. All Fields has to do is win again. I didn't look up his stats for last week. Maybe play a little bit better. Maybe score a couple offensive touchdowns. Guess what? Wilson's not coming in.
You're it. Yeah.
Wilson's not coming. They're not going to mess up their chance to win if they're winning with Fields. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me.
So I'm just looking at. They played the Falcons. Wow, I didn't realize they beat the Falcons. So he had a 73.9 completion percentage. Only 156 yards though. His QB rating was 91.9. And let me just see what he was. He was 17 of 23. I mean, that's
sufficient.
Not bad. And he averaged 6.8 yards a throw. And
what was his rushing numbers like? What was his rushing numbers look like? What did his rushing numbers look like?
Let's see. Rushing. By the way, he had a 40. His longest completion was 40 yards. Rushing. He had 14 carries for 57 yards, and he averaged 4.1.
You're welcome.
For the people who are listening, Lee just like he's shrugging his shoulders, like I told you so.
It's not complicated. I don't. Listen, Russell Wilson was what he was. I don't think he's that person anymore. I don't think he's that quarterback anymore. But
I agree.
We see what happens. All I know is if Fields plays this weekend and he wins again,
it's a wrap.
Not looking good for Russell Wilson to be coming back in the game.
Yeah. By the way, can we just go back to one quick thing about Jones, because it just popped into my head. All I kept on hearing after the game, this has been bothering me. No, this has really been bothering me. The bowl, day bowl, whatever however the fuck, I don't care anymore.
I think
You
Brian
suck.
Day. I've heard it say Dayball, so I don't
Day
know.
ball. Okay. They kept on saying, "Oh, I'm gonna watch the tape. 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 I'm gonna watch the tape." What more do you need to see?
I don't need to see tape.
That's what like. What the fuck are we doing here? I got so aggravated because almost every fucking answer he gave, well, I gotta go back and watch the tape. Brother, if you're not seeing that happening in real time in front of your face on your fucking offensive plays that you are calling, it's this season's a wrap. Fire everybody.
Bring in Belichick, baby.
Dude, I'm telling you right now. I don't. Oh man,
It's the low hanging fruit, and they're gonna grab it.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. I would offer that man a piece of the team.
I thought you were gonna say a piece of your. I was like, yo, chill.
That too. Bring him home, baby. Bring Belichick home. Bring that guy fucking home back to the Giants.
Oh my God, I'm dead.
Speaking of dead, Caleb Williams.
Not literally everybody. Just chill.
No, he didn't play all that well in his first NFL start. He had some dude. Let's look at these ugly numbers, by the way. 14 of 29 for 48.3 percentage. He only had 93 yards. His longest pass only went for 13 yards.
All their scores come from defense or special teams?
A lot of it came on defense. Yes.
And they had one on special team because then they block a punt.
Yes, they did. So I know you're like, how the fuck did they win that game? It was because of the defense.
They were down 17-0, and I was like,
which is insane. Yeah.
And then I think the interception on Will Levis, I don't know what the hell he was doing when he flicked it. I don't know if you saw that highlight.
No, I did not.
Scored. Hey, the guy, bro, they had him sacked. He was almost to the ground. He flicked it like. You got to see the play, like flicked it.
Oh, and he was on his knees with his head on it.
Something like, and when he was on his, after he threw it, he was on his knees, like, Jesus, what did I just do? Why did you even throw that ball? Why don't you just take the sack?
Oh my God!
And it was right there for the cornerback, whoever intercepted it, and they took it to the
Tyreek
house.
Stevenson, 43-yard interception return.
Yes, and then they did a block punt, I think, for another.
Yeah, they had
for another score.
Yep. Here, I'm gonna go through it. I'm gonna go through it right now. Titans jump out to a 17-0 lead.
Yep.
Right. So then the field goal by Cairo Santos makes it 17-3 Titans with 27 seconds left in the second quarter. Here's the block punt with 9:07 left in the third quarter. 21-yard return of a block punt by Jonathan Owens. That makes it 17-10 Tennessee. Then Santos hits another field goal to cut the lead to 17-13. Then he kicks another one, a 48-yarder to cut the lead to 1. And then the interception with 7:35 left in the game.
And that's when they won 24-17. 24-17.
Yeah, because they got the win for the 2-point conversion. And Caleb converted on that, by the way.
No goodie.
So yeah, that's how you win a fucking game in on your with your defense. By the way,
because as ugly as that game was, they don't have those 2 turnovers. They don't win the game.
Yeah, exactly. We'll talk about the Bears later in our picks because their game is involved in my picks for this week. I don't know about you.
I wonder. No, that it's not.
Okay. Yeah.
I wonder. Besides the 2 local teams, I wonder.
Yes.
If we picked.
Ooh, I'll be curious.
3 of the games.
Yeah.
Because
we definitely didn't pick the Bears.
Because no, I did not.
Okay.
I wanted to do it where we agreed on 5 teams, but I said nah, because if anyone listens to this and they want to take, they want to gamble, whatever, FanDuel, and at least they got 3 teams from you that we didn't speak about and 3 teams from me that we didn't speak about. You know what I mean?
Listen, guys.
No, we're not promoting it. You do whatever you want. Don't come back here and blame me. Like you blame your fantasy football plays, you schmuck.
I had to make sure
You
I
want to
said
listen
that.
to me? You want to do your research and you want to agree with me? That's on you. I'm not Matthew Berry of ESPN and all of that. You could kiss my ass.
Yeah, please. We're not. Oh
Don't
God,
send me death threats over email and all of that. I don't want to hear it.
we're not Hank Goldberg.
Yeah.
Where's that? That was the guy, right?
Yeah, Hank. Yep.
He
Is he?
Yeah, he is. I'm pretty sure he is. Let's see. Speaking of being dead, rest in peace to James Earl Jones. Yeah, he died 2 years ago.
Oh, and Ed
Yeah.
Kranepool.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. I was sad about. Everybody knows I'm a fucking Star Wars fan, so sucks. Anyway, Thursday night. It's another thing that pissed me off about this week one. Chiefs won with the opener. My God, can we stop with the referee shit? Dude, it was non-stop. Oh, the refs are on the Chiefs' pockets. Oh, they're always giving. Why did they call those plays on the? Because for people who are not aware, there's this new thing now with the offensive line that they have to be lined up in a certain way. They can't be past the center's belt, essentially. So think about it that way. They can't line up. The center's crouched over to hike the ball.
Yeah, they can't be behind them,
They
essentially.
can't be behind his belt. Look at it. That's the border.
I kind of like the rule because I feel like a lot of them were like standing upright.
Yes.
And essentially, 6 inches behind the center is a lot to where you get a head start.
Yeah, it's a huge. Yeah.
And you're really not going to get allow any sacks.
Right. Yeah.
So I kind of see where they're
fair.
going with that. Yes, was there a lot, but it's a new rule.
Yeah.
The offensive linemen have to get used to it. The referees have to get used to it.
Exactly.
But a lot of them, when they showed the replay, I was like, all right, I can see the difference in what they're saying.
Exactly.
It was the right call.
Exactly.
But I guess people don't want to take the time to do the research, learn that they're trying to implement that now.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to go up in arms and stand on their little baby soapbox. I don't shine shoes anymore. Get out of here.
But the thing is, though, it just wasn't that. It wasn't those calls. They said the Chiefs. Oh, the whole timeout thing, right?
Oh, with
Which,
when
that can't happen. Spagnola.
Spags called a timeout.
Yeah. And you're not. Yeah, I get that. But I mean, was that the difference in the game? Here's the thing: the Ravens' offensive line sucked. Jackson missed two wide open guys in the end zone.
Yep.
Where's the?
Start complaining about what really matters.
Yeah,
because this is the way I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
We're both fans of teams. Everybody's a fan of a team. Your team, whether it's the first game of the year, the third game of the year, everybody's going to have egregious calls against them.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
It happens. You try standing on that football field and trying to referee a football game. Granted, we're not referees, blah, 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 but you try doing it. It's not easy. And I'm not trying to, give these referees an easy way out. I'm not. But it's not an easy job to do. And everybody gets egregious calls. If you think a game's going to be called perfectly, you should stop watching sports. Because you're gonna drop dead of a heart attack.
Bro, I struggled calling a Little League game once as an umpire.
I did that once too.
I don't think I've ever been more nervous in my life. So I'm not gonna. Yeah, again, like you said, it happens. They make shitty calls, but like you've also said in the past, there are so many things that are happening on a football field at once during one play that, I mean, they're gonna make bad calls. They're not gonna catch everything. Listen, the Chiefs. There was one where they pushed the Ravens pushed Mahomes out of bounds. It could have been a late hit, and they didn't get called.
Mm-hmm.
So, they got away with one there. The Ravens got away with one there. So don't sit here and tell me that all these plays are going the way of the Chiefs, because it's not the case. And again, we go back to what I just said. Guess who missed wide open guys in the end zone? Guess who was scrambling for his fucking life on Thursday? Because the offensive line was
he's not going to last
well.
a whole year. He winds up doing that for the rest of the year,
dude.
Because it looks like he lost weight. He looks thinner.
Yep.
I'm not going to say he's not, Bruce Lee was thin, but when he took his shirt off, he was ripped.
Right.
So maybe that's what Lamar Jackson is, but he's playing football.
Yeah.
So it's a little different maybe.
Yeah. It might. Yeah, I think
But I'll
so.
say this, because I saw this online. I'll say this about this one game, because whatever what you're saying now is correct, but that's not what drove me crazy was after the game. The stuff that I see online and some of the stuff I heard on the radio. Not even by fans, just by people that are on radio shows.
Hit me.
They should have allowed that to be a touchdown.
Oh, fuck me. I totally forgot us to talk about that.
That Isaiah Likely on the last possession. And I'm sitting here listening. I was at work listening to it, and I really wanted to bang my head on the table. I really did. Because some of the comments I either heard or read were, replay was made just to fix egregious calls. And I was like, replay was made essentially to get the call right, you dodo bird, you banana head.
Especially in the end zone.
They got the call right. The referee in the moment of time could have had the wrong positioning. Maybe he saw a toe-to-toe, big, small, whatever. He didn't see it in the moment. And they made this a rule. I think every touchdown is replayed, no matter what.
Yes.
So it wasn't even on the referee.
Mm-hmm.
They went back to New York, wherever it was. They replayed it, said, he's out of bounds. That's it. I mean, they should have let it go. What are you talking about?
I can't believe that.
You say to let it go are the same people that saying that Kansas City got away with everything.
Right.
Come on, guys. What are we doing here? He was out of bounds. So if his whole foot was out of bounds, okay, make the call. You sound so stupid.
I'm glad you brought this whole thing up.
Like people actually typed this. They wherever they were, on the toilet, in their mother's basement, wherever they were, they actually typed it on their phone and then hit send. I'm a smart person. Hit send. They should have let the touchdown count even though he was out of bounds. Come on, man. What are we doing here?
Shit is insane, bro.
That was really my only gripe of the game. I actually enjoyed the game. I thought it was
a really good game. Yeah, it was entertaining.
But when I start seeing that and people saying that kind of stuff, they should have let it go. Oh my God. We're losing our minds here.
You know who else was losing their minds on Friday? Giants fans watching Saquon Barkley.
Oh, what a transition. You see how he did that, ladies and gentlemen?
3 fucking touchdowns.
Sweet feet.
In Brazil. On that shitty field, by the way. Good Lord. You know what? Here, let's talk about that for a second, too. Here's the thing I don't understand. They just had a soccer game on Sunday there.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't hear about that.
Yes. So the field is not in the best condition to begin with. I don't know what they did in between. I feel like if you're going to do that, you shouldn't have a soccer game 6 days earlier on the same field. But, I'm a dummy. This is why we're here. But yeah, I mean, what was it? His first game with the Eagles, and he has 3 touchdown scores, and he's never had a 3 touchdown game. He never had a 3 touchdown game with the Giants.
Looks like he should have, according to that game Friday, he should have been the first fantasy pick.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really have anything more to say about that. Listen, Legion and I have said it here. Shane did not want Barkley back, and Mara was fucking beside himself when they let him go. And I think we talked about it, maybe again. I forget what Mara said. I'm going to be, really upset if he doesn't come back. Well, there you go.
I did hear someone say on a talk show today that, and I just wanted to hit my head against the wall. They said one of the reasons why the Giants lost on Sunday because the Minnesota Vikings weren't scared of their run offense.
Was that similar to? Oh, see, now this is why all these things are because you mentioned this. Now I'm thinking about.
I heard this today.
Yeah, well, that reminds me like the linebacker talking shit on the Vikings and everybody was like, "Oh, that should be bulletin board material. They should be taping that to the bulletin board." Listen, guys, if last year was not motivation enough to play well this past Sunday, the way they played last year, then the season's over, man. Don't even, don't even dress up. And then you got this guy saying, "Oh, it's just a rough patch." What? It's the first game of the season. What are we talking
This
about? A
rough
rough
patch has been going on for 6 years.
It was Dexter. It was Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah. Come on, man. I like you. Don't be a jackass. Really, please. Speaking of jackasses,
Oh boy.
Tyreek Hill.
Oh boy. I want to say this before we start. I wanted to write this down, but I don't have time. Shout out to all the people on Instagram, because this is where I made a comment when I first saw it and I saw the video and all of that. I made a comment. I didn't even I asked a question. I asked a legitimate question.
Yes.
Am I let me say this first. I asked a question based on what I saw.
What was the question?
Basically, my question was, and this is we're not looking up any laws or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going based off. I've been pulled over before quite a few times for whatever reason.
Yes.
I'll get into one story that's quite sensitive to me, but we'll get to that after this.
Yes.
All I asked was, because I looked and at first I couldn't see the tint on his windows. Then I watched the video again. I said, "Damn, those tints are really dark."
Yeah, they were.
Is it wise for him to roll up the window even if he's being told not to, whatever Florida law says or not?
Mm-hmm.
Because now the officer can't see into your car.
Can't see your hands.
So that was my question. Should he be rolling up his windows with tint that dark and the officer cannot see into his car, and now the officer feels threatened?
Right.
Should he have done that? I got told to shut up, and I got called the woman's anatomy. God bless you, people. Listen, 20 years ago, I would have got into, something with them.
Yeah.
All I said to both of them was, I said, "Thank you. Have a good night, sir. If you have a chance, listen to my podcast," and I hit the link.
I love it.
A couple of other people actually liked my comment, made a couple comments like he's actually making a good point. You guys are just not reading it right. So shout out to them. I'm going to try to go back and shout them out later time, whatever the case may be.
Sure.
I just think that people, they just want to see it one way.
Of course.
Create their narrative by what one person looks like, by what another person looks like. Create that narrative, and that's all that happened. Come on, guys. More than that happened during that time he was pulled over.
Mm-hmm.
And nowhere in that question or anything did I say, I know everything. I have a brother in law enforcement. My grandfather was in law enforcement. I didn't say any of that because my brother had his own opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just asking a question based off what I saw and based off what I've been through and what I've been told. And I mentioned this before. My grandfather told me growing up, when you get a call or whatever situation you're in, you run into an officer, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and you're going to go home. Leave your ego at the door. I don't know, watching that video, I wasn't comfortable. And I'm not saying the officer did everything right either because he was a bit aggressive.
He was, sure.
But my question is, with everything after him not tapping on his window, if everything after that, would that have happened if he would have just listened to what the officer said?
Absolutely not.
I agree with you. It's still an opinion because obviously we don't know that.
Right.
But that's my opinion.
Here's the other thing too, brother. He should not have been speeding through a construction zone.
There's signs all along the highway. If you speed through a construction zone, the fine is doubled if you get caught. Chance of suspension of license. There's signs all over.
Yep.
I see them all over the place. It's with that and driving through school zone speeding.
Mm-hmm.
You're effed. And that cop on that bike with his body cam, when he turned it on to me, he was going fast.
Yeah, I was watching.
So I don't know how fast Hill was going.
Yeah.
And then he said, How fast was I going? Come on, bro. You couldn't tell you was going fast.
On a street. This wasn't even on the highway. This was on the street.
Come on,
That's the
man.
other thing that made it worse. Here's the thing, and I was thinking about this as I was getting ready for the show, and I think part of the problem with this whole situation, and it goes back to a lot of things that we've seen the past few years about just because you are an athlete doesn't mean that you have better rights or more privilege than everybody else. I know a lot of people think that. I get that and I understand that. But you're just like you and me. If I cut you, you're still going to bleed the same red blood. So to sit there and say I'm being unfairly treated or harassed or I'm allowed to speed through a construction zone because I'm fucking Tyreek Hill, that's not the way this works. Listen, he didn't actually get arrested and booked like the golfer did. And I know that got brought up a lot in the past couple of days because everybody wanted to turn it into a race thing.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? That guy who wasn't black got actually arrested and booked
He
and
was
brought
booked.
down to the station and pictures taken.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen to Hill. And then to sit there and have the audacity to say that they were beating you up. Bro, I watched the video. They were a little rough, sure. Were they beating you? This was not a fucking Rodney King situation, man. Like, come on. And then today, I'm gonna read the thing quick here that you sent me. I could have been better. I could have let down my window. And at the end of the day, I'm human and I gotta follow the rules. I gotta do what everybody else would do. Now, does that give them the right to literally beat the dog out of me? Absolutely not. Dude, they didn't beat the dog out of you. And you're saying it right there. I should have listened. Why did you
And
just listen?
for people that agree with what he's saying that they saw, you guys should be ashamed of yourself. Because unless my eyes are deceiving me, I don't know. Like I feel like sometimes this is like that. Remember that thing back in it, like a couple years ago? Is the banana blue or is the banana yellow? This is not what this is.
It was the dress, I think.
Yeah, the dress thing. This is
Yeah.
not what. This is not what. And I'm not trying to make a mockery because listen, I don't know what it is to live like a black man in America today. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that. I'm not saying that. And I agree with where the officer got rough.
He did. I think he did.
But I feel like Tyreek Hill was instigating the situation, maybe antagonizing the officer a little bit. And maybe the officer, not maybe, should have had more self-control and realized what he was doing because you were saying banging on you. He wasn't banging on your window.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Okay, so right there off jump, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. And then the two other players got arrested. And they showed the video of that too. The officer told you, do not come over here. Do not park there.
Exactly.
And you did the total opposite. And you both got arrested.
Yeah. Which I don't understand.
Like, Calais Campbell asked the officer, where would you like me to go? He said, past that car.
Right.
And you kept on talking to him saying, I want to find out what's going on with my friend. Oh, my.
I don't get it, bro. And you talked about it before about getting, and I know the story, but I've only been pulled over twice in my life. Right? Happened once in Connecticut, long time ago, and once when I was moving back to the East Coast from Chicago. I got pulled over in a U-Haul of all things. That scared the shit out of me. But you know what? In both instances, I did exactly what they asked. I didn't get all accusatory when the first time when the cop asked me, "Hey, were you drinking?" And honestly, I was honest with him. I was like, "Yeah, I had a couple of margaritas." And you know what he did? He took his flashlight and did that thing, follow the light without moving your head, see if you're drunk. And I passed it. He was like, "Have a good night, sir." I wasn't being like a dick to him. And then the second time in the truck, the guy was a little worried because I was swerving a little bit. You know why I was swerving? Because I was dead fucking tired. And I was back on the road at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Pulled me over, checked to see if the rental was mine. Very cordial, very nice. Sent me on my way without anything. He's like, "Oh, just be more careful." Guess what? Both of those guys were white. And again, like you said, I get it. I fucking get it. I understand. But we're brown too. And I could have gone left.
Yeah, it doesn't excuse whatever we've gone through because I'm not
Sure.
black.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know what it is to live like a black man in the United States today.
Sure.
But it doesn't excuse my experiences
Yeah.
or your experiences and how
Right.
you felt or how I felt. Plus, I'm not comparing the two.
Right.
I would like to say this too. And I told my brother this and I told Charlie and Rob this. After he wrote that statement, do you think he's the one that took the initiative to get up behind that podium after he saw that video?
Absolutely
Of course
not.
not. So you know what that tells me? The Miami Dolphins and his agent saw that video and said, we got to figure something out here.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you told us initially is not really what we're seeing here.
Exactly. And they released that video very quickly, by the way.
And I also want to say this, and then I'm going to talk about a couple of my things, and then we're going to move on because I don't need any hate mail. Because people don't know how to listen because I don't think we're being offensive in any way.
Sure. No, we're not.
Tyreek Hill is calling for this officer's job. I'm going to say this. Whatever happens to the officer happens. Like I said, he really didn't handle the situation the best either.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say this. Tyreek Hill has been allegedly accused of beating his pregnant wife and punching one of his kids.
I didn't know that.
Allegedly.
But
I don't want to get sued. I don't want to get sued, but allegedly.
Yeah, but I didn't even hear that.
Look it up. It'll come up.
It's news to me. Yeah. Okay, I believe you. I believe
NFL has kept you, right, brother? Have you gotten fired? Listen, we make mistakes. We handle things the wrong way. I get it. Everything from the beginning of that situation to the end of that situation could have been handled differently on both sides, and we wouldn't be talking about this. Agreed. But don't act like you haven't done anything egregious in your life, allegedly. And I'll leave it at that. And I'll get into a pivot real quick to 3 instances in my life. The first one, I was in West Bubble, Pennsylvania. The speed limit was 55 on this particular highway. There was 3 cars in front of me. They weren't going above 40.
Shocker.
I was PO'd, let's say.
Yeah.
So in order for me to pass three cars, just do the math. I had to speed to get past all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I wound up hitting, I think, 70, 75. Driving. I happened to look in the rear view and the lights are on. He was like really far away, so he must have caught me like on the sky radar or something.
Yeah.
However they do that.
Right.
He pulled me over. I rolled my window down. You know, what's it? Whatever. How many 12 to whatever you hold the hands.
Yeah, 12 and 2.
12 and 2, right?
10 and 2. 10 and 2.
Gave him my license registration. You know why I pulled you over? Yes, sir. I was speeding. My apologies. He went to his car, looked me up, and I'm not gonna lie, my license was suspended. I didn't know my license was suspended.
Oh shit!
This is when a couple years after the World Trade Center, I wasn't working. Whatever, it's no excuse.
Yeah.
My grandfather bailed me out, paid some child support that I owed, but it didn't clear the records in time to where he could see it. This white gentleman let me go. He could have easily either locked me up, took my car, impounded my car, and I would have had and guess what it was? It was a Friday night.
Yeah.
So you know what that tells me? I wouldn't have gone anywhere till Monday. Okay? Number 2. I was living in the Bronx. I'm in my apartment by myself. I had an apartment not too far where I'm living now. I parked my car. It was 4 a.m. I was coming from a wedding. I was with someone. Parked my car. I'm reading a sign to see if I could park there because the next day was Monday and I was off. I didn't want to wake up. I wasn't even drunk. I just was tired.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to wake up to move the car. This cop car, which was 10 feet in front of me, I guess they saw me. They looked at me. They assumed I was staring at them. They rolled up on me. This cop to this day that works in this neighborhood, he's about 6'6", Spanish dude. I see him quite often in the diner. And I really just want to punch him in the back of the head. But I don't. It was him and his partner who was black.
Uh-huh.
They rolled up on me. He tried to intimidate me. And he went like to my chest. What you looking at me for? I'm not going to lie. I made a small comment. I said, don't flatter yourself. He didn't like that. He said, where you coming from? Blah, blah, blah. Long story short, wedding. I'm tired, man. I just want to go home. My apologies. I'm tired. Whatever. Where do you live? Told him my address, 5th floor. Man, he's a super, everything. I mean, you want to come watch me open my door? I said, I'm not even being smart. I'm just trying to go home. I'm tired. And I was looking at the sign to make sure I could park. Oh, at this time of night, blah, blah, blah. Sir, I don't know what else to say. His partner essentially said, come on, bro. We got essentially telling him we don't have anything here. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I left. Last story, because I know I'm going a little rant here.
That's
I was
fine.
living upstate with my pops and my stepmom. Went to work one day. It was a Friday. So what I used to do was drive to they lived in Montgomery, sorry. So I used to drive to the Newburgh bus station, park the car, jump on the bus, go into Times Square, go to work. This Friday night, I hung out, took the last bus out of Times Square, which was 10:45, something like that. Got me to Newburgh about 12:30. Jumped in my car, started headed to my pop's house. Out of nowhere, I see on 17K.
Oh,
You're
God.
familiar.
Yeah, of course.
I see this car pull out of the dark. I already knew. I was like, this is a cop. It's just a matter of time till they pull me over. I made a left. The left I always make.
Mhm.
Sure enough, the lights get thrown on. I pull over. It's a white lady.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
I've heard this story, but go ahead.
License, registration. Do you know why I'm pulling you over? I said, actually, I do not, ma'am. She said you were swerving. I was like, really? Okay. If that's what you're telling me, I was swerving. So how much did you have to drink tonight? I didn't have anything to drink. Do you do drugs? No, I don't do drugs. I went to work. I went out, and I'm driving out to my father's. Your father has a house in Montgomery, out of all places. What? Now my grandfather can hear him. She's trying to trigger me.
Yeah, sure.
She goes to her car, comes back. What are you doing up here if you're from Brooklyn? And who's David Perilla? I said, David Perilla is my grandfather. So you telling me you stole his car?
Jesus Christ.
I'm like, ma'am, I'm so confused and I'm so tired. My grandfather bought this car for me, and it's in his name because he bought it, and I'm using it. Step out the car.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. I step out the car. Unbeknownst to me, it's pouring now, and she has the big headlight on. I'm blinded. But when I could get refocused, there's like 9 cop cars out there. She gives me a breathalyzer, walk the line, takes me to the back of the car, throws me on top of the trunk. I'm like, Jesus Christ. She goes to go search the car. This young cop, I'll never forget. He grabs my arm and he like lifts me up because I didn't know if I was supposed to stay there or not. He tells me, stand up. He grabs my arm. He comes close to me. He whispers in my ear. She's
Yeah.
use whatever you word you want to use.
Yeah.
Just chill. You're gonna go home. That's all I need to hear. Mind you, that was a white cop. He was probably in his 20s. They called my father. I called my father because they didn't want me driving anymore. She was 100% sure that I was under the influence, even though I passed the test. Whatever.
That's crazy.
My poor
That's
pops
insane.
and stepmom had to get up at 1:00 in the morning. They had to drive to where I was. Thank God it wasn't far. My father drove my car. My stepmom drove their car, and I went home. I got a ticket. Went to court that Monday. She didn't even show up. You know what the judge says? She never shows up. Dismissed.
There you go.
Listen, guys. Just listen. Comply. You're going to go home. The bad cops will be weeded out. I do believe that. But I don't believe I think the smallest scale is bad cops. I think law enforcement, for the most part, are good and they do their job well. And they're the people that you call when you're in trouble. And we'll leave it at that.
I agree for sure. All right. Let's we talked about this earlier, but let's get into we thought it would be fun. We didn't do this last week. I don't know why we didn't. I blame Lee J for it. But let's get into some picks for week number 2. And as I said previously, we're not fucking Hank Goldberg, okay? So I don't want to hear anybody coming at us if you lose $1 million. That's not our fault. So what we're going to do is we're always going to pick the local games. Always going to pick Giants and Jets. So that's a given. And then we're going to go into another 3 games each. So it'll be 5 each, 10 total. So, sir, let's start with the local teams.
Yep, let's do that.
Yeah. So according to our way we do the way we did the win-loss.
By the way, I went off for FanDuel in the spread. Shout out FanDuel.
So did I.
All right, so we're good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're good. So I'm taking the Jets over the Titans at 3.5. So to obviously cover the spread here, I think they're gonna win too. I mean, if you want to take the money line, take the money line. If you want to do both, I don't care. But that is my thing here. I think they're gonna come back with a vengeance this coming Sunday.
I think they win by at least a touchdown.
So that's your pick then. You're taking
Jets.
the Jets. Okay.
Yep. Minus 3.5.
So I am taking the Giants,
which are not favored. I don't believe they're not favored.
They're underdogs by 1.5. So you figure it's basically a field goal.
Win
by a field goal, and you will be good. So I am. And if you want to get crazy, take the Giants at the points for me and the money line. So I'm taking both New York teams.
It's plus 300,000 for Daniel Jones to throw 6 touchdowns. Put $10 on that.
Can you imagine?
Get out of here.
So you're taking the Giants as well?
I'm taking the Giants as well. I agree.
Okay. So let's get into what we're, I'm sure we're different. So my first game that's different, I am taking the Bears with the points at 6.5. I don't think, the only reason I'm saying that is because I think it's because of the defense.
Who are they playing?
The Houston Texans.
Okay.
I think the game will be close enough. I think the Texans are going to win. Don't get me wrong. But I just don't think they're going to win by 6.5.
By 6.5.
Only because I just think the defense will play well. And I think Caleb is probably maybe going to do just enough. I don't know that he'll play better. So again, Bears with the points at 6.5. But if you want to go the money line route too, you can go ahead and take the Texans, at least according to what I'm thinking. Anyway, your third game, sir.
My third game is Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Detroit Lions. Tampa Bay is underdogs by 7.5.
Oh,
I think Detroit's going to win that game, but not by 7.5. I'm taking Tampa Bay.
I was waiting for you.
I'm taking Tampa Bay at plus 7.5.
That's a lot, man.
They played them well last year in the playoffs. Granted, it's not the same.
No, I know.
Game,
I get that.
But I just think 7.5 is a lot. Tampa Bay plus 7.5.
Yeah, that's especially with the way Baker Mayfield played last week. Shout out to the fucking Browns for stupid trades. By the way, another stupid thing. Did you see that Tony signed with the practice squad for the Browns?
Like I told you at Caesar and Danny in the group text, this is the same team that kept 4 quarterbacks on the active roster.
I didn't realize that. Oh my God, that's awful. Okay, my game number 4. I'm taking the Falcons with the points at 6.5. There's a theme here
that was one of we agree with that.
Oh, nice. Okay, so there is same one. Okay. I don't know. I think the Falcons are probably going to come out. They're favorites to win the division. So, and there were some things in that Philly game that I just thought, I don't know, man. I felt like they were a little shaky at times. So
I just don't think Atlanta comes out 2 weeks in a row and does the same. I don't think that's going to happen.
So my question is, and I had a tough time with this, and I really haven't made the decision, but I gave you my pick with the points. Do you think the Falcons can win the game?
I
Or do you
think
think
they
the
can.
Eagles?
I think they can, but I don't think they are.
Mm, yeah.
I think the Eagles win by I see something like 24-20, something like that.
Yeah, I can see that. I think it'll be a close game, which is why I went with the Falcons with the points there. And then my last game, the 49ers to cover at 6.5 on
Mm.
the road against the Vikings. I don't think the Vikings are going to crash down to earth. I think. And I think the 49ers are a legit team. And I can come on, 6.5. That means they're winning by
Who they're playing
a
again?
touchdown.
You just
The
said
Vikings.
the Viking.
Vikings on the
Okay,
road. Yeah.
okay.
Skull my ass. How about that? By the way, fuck y'all Vikings fans who were doing that on Sunday. Screw off. Go back to Minnesota.
Minnesota, Fargo.
Sorry, that's not in Minnesota.
No, I
That's
just
in
love to say that because I think couple of the name of the show that I watch, I think a couple of seasons took place there. I think I'm not sure.
God.
Anyway,
Your last game,
my
sir.
last game, the Raiders
Okay.
against the Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh, that's a good
Baltimore's
one.
favored by 8.5. Give me Baltimore on the points.
Oh shit. Okay.
They're gonna smack the Raiders. This is
Hmm.
gonna be 28-10, 28-13,
I
something
think it's
like
gonna be
that.
one of those games.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, the Raiders, the Ravens are home team, correct?
Ravens are the home team.
Ravens are the home. Yeah, I think they're gonna come out and like
And
take
I
care
don't
of
usually
business.
go for like I tend to stay away from these like 8+ spreads
Yeah, it's a
because
lot.
I don't
I don't
like
like
them.
that. Yeah, I don't like that either.
I just think Ravens showed me enough on offense against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I just saw that a little bit of that Raider game and Gardner Minshew. Ugh. Ravens
Just
all
saying
day.
his name. Let me ask you a question. Are you actually going to bet any of these games?
I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure.
I think I might. What the fuck? I didn't do anything for week 1. So again, guys, we don't live in Vegas. We're not professional handicappers here.
Even though
So
Will's gonna probably retire and move to Vegas. That's what I heard.
that's not happening at all. I hate that fucking place. For people who don't know, can we just? By the way, you know what I forgot to put in the notes here to talk about the Mets. So we have to talk about the Mets, but that's after the halftime. For people who don't know, I've been to Vegas many times in my life, mostly for work, and I fucking hate that place. So I think your brother Jonathan hates that place too,
Yeah,
doesn't he?
Jonathan hates it, and I think he only
Yeah.
went there once.
Yeah.
I think
That's all you need.
the only place he mentioned to me that he liked, I think it was called Egg Slut.
Yes, I went there the last time I was there. Oh
He
my
said he
god,
liked
so
it.
good.
He said that's
Oh
it. He
man,
said that's it. He said besides that, the place sucks. It's
that shit.
overrated.
Yeah, that shit was good. And I know you haven't been. I'm telling you, bro. When the A's are there and the Mets, that's I think when we should go. That's what I'm telling you because I think you have to go at least once.
No, I'm going to go at least
to
once.
experience. Yeah,
This hasn't happened yet.
All right, it is halftime at two dummies that just watch a sports podcast between friends, and I really don't want to spend a lot of time on this. But listen, DJ knows what this is about.
This is his halftime topic, which is actually I actually like it.
Yeah,
And we could actually talk about this for like several years.
Yes, but we don't have several years.
But we really don't have time.
So, as many of you know, and if you follow us on Instagram, I was at a conference this past week, Sunday night to today. I mean, I got back here to Newburgh at about 7:15. The hotel's in the middle of Times Square. And when I mean the middle of Times Square, it is in the middle of Times Square. So much so that this hotel has like a special New Year's Eve thing for New Year's Eve. By the way, for those who are it's the New York Marriott Marquis, which is where they have the Heisman Trophy presentation thing. So it's a well-known hotel in New York City. And this conference is always there every single year. And my company was a part of it. Whatever. That doesn't matter. Listen, I will say when I was younger, I had some kind of like there was some kind of mystique, I think, about Times Square in some ways. It was a shithole at one point. The people who are as old as we are and older know, fucking hookers and the Triple X theaters, this,
Oh
that, the other
yeah.
thing. And then when Giuliani took over, even though he's a piece of shit, he did clean up Times Square. I'll give him credit for that. Like I will give him credit for that. And it became basically Disneyfied and whatever. That doesn't matter, bro, these days, man, because and I think I don't know if I told you this. Sunday night, we get in. I want to go watch the game after I had dinner with my coworker. So I'm like, where am I gonna go? I'm gonna go to Yard House. Everybody knows. For those who don't know, I love the Yard House.
Shout
AJ
out
knows
Yard
this.
House. Yard
Yeah,
House is
fucking
good.
love. Yeah, I know what I'm getting there. They have all these fucking beers on tap. It's for me. It's perfect. There's a big one in Times Square, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go there. Fuck it. It's only a few blocks away. When I tell you that there was just this sea of humanity that I was walking through,
Is that what you call it, humanity?
yeah, wow, garbage maybe.
Exactly.
For anyone who's ever walked through that Times Square on a week, I couldn't believe it was a Sunday night where this many people are out. Let me tell you some things I saw, by the way, and I know you've seen these same things, but let's humor me here. That's what I was looking for. The stupid characters, right? That are dressed like fucking bootleg Mickey Mouse and Marvel characters.
They all look like they have some kind of disease.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, they're all over
And
the
wash that
place.
uniform.
Oh God, those things are disgusting. How often do you think they wash those things, if ever?
Never.
That's one. Two, I don't understand the need to stop in the middle of the sidewalk and take a picture. I get it. Listen, I get it. You're in Times Square, but they've made those areas, the sidewalk, big enough now. So where
Well, yeah,
there's
because
more like,
essentially there's like no street. They just opened up the
yeah,
street and they put
e-
tables there. So where
exactly.
you could get actually a better view.
You can, there's so much room to take a picture. Why do you have to stop in the middle of the fucking sidewalk when I'm trying to get somewhere? So that's the other thing. I get so annoyed by that. Number three, the guys who are outside trying to get you on the bus or get you in the comedy club. Fuck you and fuck you. Oh, Comedy Central, Comedy Central, Comedy Central. Fuck off with that. By the way, you should.
Get off my lawn, you bitch.
Well, you know what the problem is? So, quick story about that, because a buddy of mine who's a comedian in Chicago told me about this. This is one of the reasons why he's not trying to do comedy here, is because those people who are selling you that shit for Comedy Central, they're trying to get on the stage. So
Mm.
they're like part of the whole thing of like they're paying their dues.
Mm.
And part of paying your dues is you got to go out there and get people into the fucking theater for this stuff.
Okay. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. That's what it is. So that's why those guys are like pressing you to buy their tickets. So there you go. Little tidbit there for people who don't know that. And then just I don't know, man. Listen, listen. I'm not gonna like disparage homeless people. I'm just not gonna do that. But you've got homeless people walking around Times Square. You got people on fucking drugs walking around Times Square. Today, when I was going back to the train station, you've got just these people acting a fool, like they're in a fucking playground, and they're grown men, like grown men acting like idiots. I just don't understand. I don't understand it. And this is why I hate going to that area, because it's a fucking shit show. Yes. Is there some cool stuff about around there? Yeah. Harry Potter's there. Uh Lion King, right? A lot of the Broadway theater stuff is there. But my God, what a fucking horrible, horrible place. Anyway, so I don't know if you have anything to say, but I know you hate that place as much as I do, but god damn, man. What
I
an awful, awful place.
like I've said before, my mother and father had sex in the wrong city.
Damn.
I've grown to my personality. People that know me, my is not matched for the high intensity of New York City and the stuff that happens here. There's a
Yeah.
such thing as that. I believe this is
Yes.
this is not the city that I think for me was a perfect match. And like I said, I have no control over that. It is what it is.
Right.
But I try to stay out of that place. I mean, I walk through there sometimes with my coworker. Him and I want to shoot the shit. We walk to Grand Central. That's cool. But
Yeah.
we don't actually go through Times Square. We got to go a
Yeah.
different route.
Yeah. Go down 8th Avenue.
That, or we go down Park.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's just, I feel like it's getting worse and worse over the years, and I don't
It
want to go down a
has.
political rabbit hole. But then you see,
Yeah.
like I told you, I've been telling you, the Sundays I've been out there, the place is packed. But you're
It's
telling us
crazy.
there's no money in New York City. Can't be both ways.
No, it can't be.
Safety issues, like more serious stuff that's happening. I don't know how anyone comes to visit this city. But the only reason I kind of get it is because it's the same. It's the same. Like I've always told you, it's the same people that probably say, "Why do you come to Disney and visit here? This place sucks."
Right.
So it's the
Exactly.
same. It's just reverse.
Yeah.
So I get it, but I don't know, man. I try to stay. I try to stay out of that place. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, and the shit that sucks is that I've been finding myself going there more only because of work circumstances. Conference, my company's my company has an office on 40th and I think it's 7th Avenue, so it's right fucking there, right across the street from Yard House. Sometimes when we go bring clients, they're on the NASDAQ show that's there. The NASDAQ exchange is right there in the middle of Times Square. So I'm finding myself there more often, and I absolutely hate it.
And
And
it's
one
sad
thing,
because it doesn't have to be that way.
no, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't have to
There's
be
so
that
much
way.
opportunity within Times Square that the wrong people are in charge.
Well,
Nope,
sir.
we're not doing that. That's what I'm going to say.
I will say one thing because every time I'm in Times Square, this will be the last thing, and I think it puts a nice bow on things. It's gonna be a Star Wars reference when Obi-Wan Kenobi and a young Luke Skywalker are on the hill looking down on Mos Eisley on Tatooine for the first time to show Luke. You know what Obi-Wan says? You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. And that, my friends, is fucking Times Square.
Soon to come, a casino.
Oh God, please. Oh
That
my
I'm
God.
really going to stay out of there.
Holy shit. All right. As I mentioned before, for some reason I did not put the Mets on this thing. But we have to talk about the Mets because we haven't talked about the Mets in almost 2 weeks. And somehow, some fucking way, they are right there for a playoff spot. Today was, I don't know. I was listening to the end of the game. They're getting no hit going into the ninth inning, and the 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 leader in the clubhouse for the MVP, wink wink, Francisco Lindor hits a solo home run to start the ninth inning, and the Mets score what was it, 6 runs
Then they blew the doors off.
they
Then 5 runs after that. They won 6-2.
they win 6-2. Stanek they can't put that guy in anymore. Win the 6-2. So right now, because the Braves lost, the Mets are a game up on the Braves in the wild card standings, and they are 2 games behind both the Diamondbacks and the Padres. And I forget exactly how many games they have left. Let me just count that quick. 3, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 games left in the season. Sir, what do you. We got 16 games left. They're a game up. They still have to play Atlanta for 3 games. They're going to Philadelphia this weekend. How are you feeling right now about the Mets' chances to actually pull this out?
Like, my stance is not going to change. What's happening right now is fun. It's cool. But if you don't make the playoffs, no one's going to remember anything. That's number
Mm-hmm.
one. And number two, like I said, and I'm going to keep saying it as I get older, because that's what it has to do with. Is this sustainable for
Yeah,
the years to come? It's cool 1 year, but now what if the next 5 years you don't make the playoffs?
yeah,
I'm I'm not even going to lie. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm really, because you've seen me at any sporting event. I get
yes,
whacked.
yeah,
I
right.
lose. And I really haven't been like that. And for some reason, I can't.
This year, you mean?
I
You mean
can't.
this year?
Yeah, this year in particular,
Mm-hmm.
I can't get there, and I don't know why. And that's the best way I could explain it.
Let me ask you something then. If we're in Milwaukee and they have a chance to clinch a wild card spot, does that not excite you?
It'll. Not that it won't excite me. It's not going to be the same level of excitement. And
Interesting.
that level, bro. You've seen me. People don't know me. My family and friends, they have left the room because I look like a wacko.
Yes, guys, let me just tell you guys something. This is why I don't like watching Jets games with EJ, because he's a fucking psychopath. Anyway, carry on.
And I get like that with all my teams, even baseball, as people say it's slow.
Mm-hmm.
Him and I celebrated the 2015 World Series trip.
Yes.
And we were in a bar. Me, who's antisocial, was hugging strangers.
Right.
And I was excited.
Yes.
I don't feel that.
Interesting. Okay.
And you were there.
That's
we were there together.
Yeah.
They clinched. We were in that bar. I thought the floor was going to go in.
Right.
Because we were on the second floor. I thought that bar was going to cave in.
Right.
I don't feel that.
Interesting. I gotta say, like I'm in the same boat, and I think it was because of what happened earlier in the year where I like really checked out. And I think I told you I wasn't even watching for a good maybe 2 weeks. And I think it might have been the first Mets Yankees series was when they started like uh turning some stuff around. And that's what I kind of, they sucked me back into watching them. But there's one thing about this I do want to talk about, and I mentioned this to you. Hold on, my mom just texted me.
Oh boy.
Nothing bad.
Okay.
She wants. This is funny. Let's bring this up right now. Because we're going to get into it later. She texted me a picture of. She's got a pin set of the original WNBA teams in like a case, and she's had it for more than 25 years. And she's asking me how much do I think it's worth. I don't know.
A pin, like the pins that you put on a shirt or like a hat or something.
It's like a pin you put on a shirt. So let me show you the team. Let me tell you the teams.
How many? Yeah, I was about to ask you that.
1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4, 8, 12, 16. So here are the teams. The Comets, right? Mystics, the Monarchs, the Fever, the Fire, which don't even exist anymore. Miami.
That was my next thing. How many of those teams don't exist anymore?
What is this one? There's a team here I can't quite make out. The Detroit Shock, the Sparks, the Lynx, the Mercury, the Charlotte Sting, which don't even exist anymore, the Seattle Storm, the Soul, which became the Sun. No, wait, the Soul's not even because the Orlando Miracle became the Connecticut Sun. The Cleveland Rockers don't even exist anymore, and then the New York Liberty.
Cleveland, I'm not sure about that one.
So I don't know. I'll have to text her back later. I don't know if that's going to be worth anything. And you know what, though? Considering how hot the WNBA is right now, it actually could be worth something. But I don't know. I'll have to get back to her later. I thought that was a fun side note when I found out what she texted me there. By the way, guys, for those who don't know, my mother is a huge fucking sports fan. Like, this is where I get it from. She's more optimistic about about the teams that I root for. She's Giants fan. She's a Mets fan.
Real quick, being that I was gonna ask you. I'm not ask you something, but ever since I found this out, I always found this funny. And being that your mom just texted you is a perfect time, and she just reminded me. I find it funny that your mom's a Giants fan, you're a Giants fan. Your mom's a Mets fan, you're a Mets fan. And you were close with your dad.
Yes.
You had a great relationship with your dad, and sons tend to gravitate to
their dads
when it comes to sports. It's not a sexist thing, guys, so stop.
Yeah.
I just know the Hernandez family very well. And he was a Jets and Yankees fan.
Yes, right.
Bro, when I found that out, I actually sat in my living room. I was in shock. I didn't understand it.
That's weird. Yeah.
You get you right? You right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that because I
And
wanted to mention it today. I just forgot, but
yeah.
listen, it was meant to be because your mom texted you.
And to reinforce, I think I mentioned this on an earlier show. I think it's in in the beginning show. The first baseball game I ever went to was a
It
Yankee
was a Yankee
game.
game.
And so there you go.
Anyway,
Anyway,
yeah.
getting back to the Mets. There was one thing I wanted to bring up about the way Vientos has played and the debacle over picking him over Beatty. And I'm starting to think, and I think you've brought this up before. How is it Vientos is we all know what he's doing, right? He's having a fucking fantastic season. He had that one walk off what was it? Just a few days ago, you know?
Last
It's
week,
funny.
maybe.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned like not be, when he hit that walk off, I was like, "Oh, okay, they won." I wasn't like crazy like excited or anything. So that just tells you how, Legion and I are looking at the season. But I guess my concern right now, it's really over Alvarez and again, you've brought this up. What is happening with the Mets scouting that you overlook Vientos, you keep giving Beatty all these chances, and right now, even though we hit a 3-run homer today, this year's been a fucking lost season for Alvarez, and it's making me wonder: did they underestimate him, Alvarez? And I did some digging, by the way. Vientos is older than Alvarez by 2 years.
Is he like 25, right?
I think he's
26?
24 and
Okay.
Alvarez is 22. But Vientos was cooking longer in the minor leagues than Alvarez. And I have seen Carlos Beltran said this last week. He said you have to remember that Alvarez is still young and he's still like learning and getting a routine down. So I think that plays into what I was thinking. Did the Mets bring Alvarez up too soon, despite him smashing the ball in the minor leagues? And could he have benefited from staying an extra year and then coming up this year? Like this would have been his first full year instead of it being last year. It's making me wonder that because he is struggling fucking big time right now. So I think my question to you off of all that is it a scouting problem? Is it the fact that Alvarez was brought up too soon? Or the coaching staff is not helping him enough? I just don't know because this lineup is being carried by Lindor and Vientos. And if they're going to make the playoffs, Alvarez needs to wake up. Fucking Martinez needs to wake up. And Alonso needs to wake up. But anyway, I've gone on there for a lip. But what do you kind of make of my?
I kind of have to, with the Alvarez situation, I would have to kind of go back and see like what he was doing in the minor leagues, what our
Yeah,
catching situation was like. Because once you start smashing in AAA and you're struggling at the same position at the majors, it may be a quick trigger.
yeah, exactly.
And I think when they called him up, he didn't do bad,
No, he didn't.
which is why he got the starting job the next year.
Right.
But then he wound
Or,
up getting hurt.
well, remember when they threw him into the playoff game?
Correct.
When he probably should not have been in there, to be honest, to be quite honest.
And the Vientos thing, I think part of it is what I texted you a couple days ago, where I heard about a rumor about Showalter hated this guy. Not hate. I don't want to say hate, but he didn't like his game for some reason.
Yeah, right.
And then did they still think about that now, even though Stearns wasn't with Showalter,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and they're obsessed with like Beatty's like the Daniel Jones of the Major League Baseball. I'm done with that guy. Stop with he got a pretty left-handed swing. Stop. You're gonna hold on to this guy too long. He's gonna have no equity. You're not gonna be able to trade him. And here we go again.
Yeah.
And I think, and if I'm not mistaken, this is where everybody, Stearns trade that. Yeah, but Stearns also made a lot of mistakes this year.
He
Joey
did.
Wendell, Zach Short.
Yep.
These people, do you people remember that they started the season on the Mets roster and
Mhm.
Vientos was in the minors?
Right.
And Vientos smashed in spring training
Right.
and he still got sent down. And I think the only time he got called up to second, remember, because he got called up, he actually hit,
Hit the game winner.
and
Yep.
then they sent him back down.
Back down.
And I think he only got called up a second time because someone got hurt.
Yeah. I think it was Beatty. Was it
So
not
I'm
Beatty
thinking,
or no?
I
Yeah, I
want
don't
to
know.
say it was
I
Beatty.
forget.
So I'm saying to
Yeah.
myself, if that person doesn't get hurt, yeah, woulda, coulda, shoulda, does he get called up?
It's a great
So
question.
are you calling him up because you had to call him up or because you think he's good? The kid could play baseball, man. And he's out of all these people that you're giving a shot, Beatty, Alvarez, and whoever else, I don't think Ventro's ever got a fair shot
No, he
of,
never
of
did.
any kind of sustained time to say, let's see if this kid could do it. And to this day, I still feel I don't have confidence in him, which is why they try to move him to first base. And those are the rumors.
Right, because if they don't sign Alonso, then you're going to move Vientos to first, and then your boy is going to get another chance, potentially.
And I think
But
that's
then-
exactly what's going to happen next year.
It's going to be interesting to see. And I don't want to stay on this for too long. I mean, they're game out. It's they're coming down to the nitty gritty. It's football season, guys. You look at who's supposed to be here next year. I don't know. Let's just put it this way. It's going to be an interesting offseason for them because not only do you have to figure out where you're going to put all these guys, the Acuna and Jet Williams and a couple of other dudes, then there's the whole Juan Soto wild card. Can they bring him in? This team is going to look a lot different next year. And you wonder, like you said, if they make the playoffs, do you still clean house?
I just
think
don't
it's
see a
gonna happen.
direction right now. That's part of the problem too. Because think about, let's say a couple of people on real quick, because I just thought
Yeah.
of something.
Yeah.
Think of a couple of the people that are on 1 year contracts with and one of them has an player option. Sean
Mhm.
Manaea having a great
Manaea.
year, has a
Yeah,
paid play option. Severino on a 1 year contract. Bader 1 year contract, I think. Tyrone Taylor 1 year contract. If these players at their level of play have career years or good years as backups, you're not going to be able to sign them to another 1 year contract.
Yeah.
If somebody comes in and says, Severino, here's 3 years for $50 million, are you going to match that? If somebody says Sean Manaea, lefty, here's 3 years guaranteed, $75 million, are you going to match that? And if you don't, who are you going to replace it with?
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I feel the way I feel.
Right. Yeah.
Because we're not even giving the young kids a chance or calling them up or anything like that. Because they're not doing well in AAA either.
Right. And they had a chance they had 2 chances to call up Acuna in the past couple of weeks, and guess what? They didn't do it.
They keep on calling up DJ Stewart. Come on, get this guy out of here. God.
At this point, I would rather have Acuna off the bench and not playing and have an occasional start than have
Still sitting on the bench
dude.
as a young kid, you still learn.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're going to get opportunities.
It's
I'm
gonna
done with
happen.
DJ Stewart, man. God. F off, dude.
Oh, God. Okay. Enough about the Mets. We're going to jump back into some college football. Well, not back, but into football in general. And there were 2 things I want to bring up here, and we don't have to spend like a ton of time with but I thought it was worth bringing up because I'm a Notre Dame football fan, and you like Deion Sanders, and those are the 2 things that we're going to focus on. So, for people who have been living under a rock, Notre Dame got fucking embarrassed on Saturday.
Northern Illinois, baby.
Northern Illinois University. As somebody who lived in Chicago for 8 years, I didn't even know this place existed for like half the time I was there. Let's put it that way. Northern Illinois, who gets paid $1.4 million to come to South Bend and perhaps shatter Notre Dame's national championship hopes. And the only reason why I don't completely put them out of the picture yet is because 12 teams, maybe you get in with 1 loss. By the way, they did predictions already. They've already got NIU as a number 12 seed in the fucking thing.
Mm,
Just based off of this win,
mm.
they've got NIU because they're in the top 25 now, and somebody has them as the 12th seed in the playoff. Anyway, the one thing I want to bring up about Notre Dame, because this has actually have to do with the Giants, and I'll tell you why. Because coming into the season, Riley Leonard was on the quarterback for Notre Dame, was on these lists of potential top quarterbacks in coming into next year's draft, along with Carson Beck, along with Sanders, Junior,
Hewers.
yeah, and
Yes,
Hewers,
Sanders. Yep.
yep, and potentially Arch Manning,
Yep.
potentially. And I only say that because he's a sophomore. Let me tell you what this guy's stats are so far. He's 18 for 30.
This is in
Oh, I'm
both games
sorry.
combined.
I'm sorry. This is both. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. He's 38 for 62. He has a completion percentage of 61.3. He's only thrown for 321 yards. And think about who we just played on Saturday. You know how many touchdowns he's thrown this year?
2. 0 drama.
For those people who are watching, I've got my binoculars out in my hands. 0 fucking touchdowns, 2 picks. Dude, his longest pass this year is for 20 yards.
Yeah, that's not good.
How is this guy rated a top quarterback? I don't understand. You watch this guy, and I told you after the Texas A&M game when I was watching that game very closely for him, it's like this. I'm not impressed by this guy. And then you can't fucking beat Northern Illinois University. Don't get me wrong. Notre Dame's defense did not help in that game. Their rush defense was fucking terrible. But this guy's not doing himself any favors, and I can't imagine him being anywhere close to being a top quarterback next year. One question I did want to ask you though, and I was thinking about. It's almost similar to my preseason question. I almost wonder, does college football suffer from the fact that they don't have like a preseason? And they come out and because look what happened to Boston College, right? Come out and they lose to Georgia Tech, and then this past Saturday, guess what? Boston College, shout out, used to live near there. They beat fucking Florida State.
Florida State.
Yeah. And
That's
now
a great question.
this guy's under pressure, and then you're hearing, oh, maybe they just weren't they're not as prepared. So it just made me think, this not having
because they essentially start the season when school starts.
Exactly. Yes. They do the spring game, right? Everybody does a spring game. Make a big deal about that.
That's where I'm going with this. So school hasn't started. Do they need to play a game?
Could it be
I don't know if that's their
yeah.
I don't know if that's their argument.
It could be.
Because they're probably thinking, I don't know what they're thinking. I shouldn't say that. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, now it could be. That could be a reason. By the way, another aspect of this whole thing that came up, I think, during the Florida State, because Nick Saban made the smart ass comment about Florida State spending, I think it was Florida State or some team spending $20 million on their line, and just to hear that in relation to college football, it's like, oh shit, I keep on forgetting about that.
Yep.
And it's just like, and I shared this story with Lee J over yesterday. Ran into I'm not going to say exactly. Well, I'm not going to say his name, but he actually works for one of our clients, and he used to be a kicker for Eastern Tennessee State University, Division I guy. Played soccer, but you know how those guys are. They find out that they can kick a football, and was on the team as a place kicker, and he was actually a pitcher as well for the team. And he's not a fan of nil, by the way. And his whole argument, which I kind of agree with, is that you're paying somebody to come to your school $1 million, right? Maybe less than that. And a kid who can barely afford college or whatever, maybe college is their ticket out of whatever, can't afford to go to school or whatnot, but yet you're giving this kid $1 million and he's not even going to class. Fair, unfair? I think it's a good argument. You never responded when I texted you that. Did you have any thoughts about that about that scenario?
No. It's a fair argument. I get what he's saying, and it's like you said. It's like with the NFL and putting people in the booth on the sideline. In
Yeah,
their
yeah,
mind,
yeah.
they played football, so it could translate to commentating and watching football. So
Sure.
they're not
Yeah.
going to waste time with the person that's learning and in the process of learning.
Mm-hmm.
No, the NFL, I need you to be where I need you to be right now. And there's no better person to be on the sideline or in the booth than an ex-player. That's how they think of it as.
Right.
And I think that's what they're like, all right, not unfortunately, but hey, we're paying this kid. He has talent to play a football game, whether he goes to class at night. Shh, nobody's supposed to know that.
Right. Exactly.
But he's bringing money into our school.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to pay him based off his talent. This
Yes.
kid here,
What are you doing?
that goes for everything across the world.
Right.
Why are we doing this for that person, but we're here struggling?
Exactly. It's a good point.
And I think it's a good argument from him, what he's saying, because he actually probably, like you said, he was part of that life.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
he didn't play when they were paying players.
No. This is way before.
Way before.
About our age. So yeah.
So he gets to see it from that side when they didn't pay. But
Yeah.
that's the only way I see it. That's the only way I can argue it.
Yeah. It's changed. It's changed college football. It's changed. I should say it has changed sports in general. Nobody has to sit out anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying these kids like almost $1 million. It's just I listen. I agree that they should be getting paid. I just don't know if I agree with getting paid that much money to come to a school. I think to me that's kind of, come on, man. Does it have to be $1 million? I don't know. It seems suspect. It seems suspect to me. So
I just didn't like how before this happened. I just didn't like how, I know it. The athletes, they get everything paid for, yada yada yada. I just didn't like, and I don't know if this goes for all students, but you're not allowed to work. This was before the
right.
nil and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they still want to put some money in their pocket. You're not paying for them to do extracurricular activities that they want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And so before this nil, that was one of the things that bothered me the most. Like kids getting suspended or doing this or getting kicked off the team or whatever because they worked at McDonald's and make a couple. He's not trying to get rich.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I don't know. It's a sports, like you just said, in general is just, it's not the same anymore.
No, it definitely isn't. It definitely isn't. Speaking of people who are not the same anymore.
Oh boy.
I don't even know where to begin with this whole Deion Sanders Colorado situation. And
like
it just
I told you
seems
yesterday, I'm starting to dislike this guy as a coach.
Yeah, it just seems like things are like deteriorating over in Boulder. So let me just get people caught up a little bit here. They got trounced. Well, not really trounced. It was in the first half. They lose in Nebraska 28-10. A week after they barely beat North Dakota State. And I think they had to come back in that game. Saturday, they're playing their in-state rivals in Colorado State. I'm looking at the schedule right now. They have 4 games against schools that are currently ranked in the top 25. Okay? Sanders, the son. What's his first? I always forget his first name.
Shador?
Shador. Apparently leaves the game with like 2 minutes left. And what was his excuse again, sir? Didn't you tell me?
I don't know if he was joking around. I don't really remember what that was. Something about
getting
being
the
a
water
good
ready or
teammate.
something.
Some crap. I don't know. It was stupid. He should stay on. The point is that he should stay on the field.
Yeah, you got to stay there until the
because you just look like a big baby and a sore loser.
Yeah, until the very end. But the thing is that his father now is starting to become that guy with a lot of the stuff that he's saying, the way he's acting, comparing himself to Jesus.
Oh yeah, that clip that I sent you, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Jesus Christ is right. Like, what are we? I don't. I don't understand. Here's my thing: if you're trying to make yourself attractive for the next level, and that's all we keep on hearing, next level, Deion Sanders, next coach of the Dallas Cowboys. You're telling me any of this shit's gonna fly in Dallas? I don't know. Maybe it will, but the NFL has their own rules. And we talked about it a couple of weeks ago or last week about what they did with the media guy in Colorado. You can't do that in the NFL. It's just not. It's just not what happens here. So, sir, you mentioned it again today. You just don't like Deion Sanders, the coach, right now. Or starting not to like him. But what's kind of been your thoughts
Because like I
since?
said, I think it was last week.
2 weeks ago, actually.
Yeah, 2 weeks. He's like he's trying to carry over who he was as a player into coaching. It's two different things. You're not Nick Saban, and you talk like you're Nick Saban. I'm coming, we're coming, we hear you, we're taking receipts. Listen, guys, your team sucks. And I was rooting for your hard body last year because I was a Deion Sanders fan, but I'm going left with this. It's becoming dull, old, and boring. You know why? Because you're not winning.
That's what it is.
And now you look like a bunch of solos. The players are trying to take on Deion's personality. Just play football. You coming out on the field, taunting the other team, walking by their sidelines, flashing your watch, showing your change, putting your pinky in your mouth, showing your gold teeth or your diamond teeth.
You're doing.
Like, you look like morons. And then it makes it worse because when you go on the field, you get trounced. And you look like you don't even belong with that team that's on the field, that you're on the field with.
Right.
I don't understand. Like, why don't you see that and you keep on making excuses? Just say, I got to do better. My team sucks, and I got to get them to the level that I need to get them to. Stop putting on these shows, man. You're not prime time anymore. Intercepting the ball and doing that dance in the end zone. That's over. It's over. Like, what are we like? You probably can't even dance anymore. You're missing toes and all of that. Just stop. Like this is why the media and stuff, they scrutinize him, and then he don't like it. He looks like a baby because you're saying all this stuff and you're not and you're not showing that. Your team's not showing that, and then you get mad when a reporter asks you a real question and you're a baby and you can't answer it.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of him. Come on, man. Get out of here.
By the way, this is what he said. When you lose, you're going to be ridiculed. You're going to be prosecuted and persecuted, and I'm good, Sanders said. I've been on the cross for a long time, and I'm still hanging.
Jesus Christ.
But here's the thing. And I was thinking about this, this is the shower thoughts, and I was getting ready for because I specifically thinking about this. They're not ridiculing you because of the losing. They're ridiculing you for exactly what you just said. Doing all this showboating shit and then going out and losing in spectacular fashion to where you were shut out in the first half against Nebraska.
But then when you speak in the post-game interview, it sounds, if you would listen to him and you didn't watch the game, you would think they won. That's the weird part. Like, he has to stop. He has to stop. But I don't think he's going to because that's his personality.
Right. Yeah. And then I can just see it now. Oh, they're trying to hold me down, blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, you're not going to.
This season's lost. I'm saying it now. It's lost.
Oh, they are. Yeah.
Last year was lost. And next year, I think, see ya.
How long is his contract for? Let me just look it up quick. Because he's only 57 years old. Interesting. I wonder, it's a 5-year deal worth up to $29.5 million.
They gave him $30 million. He's probably one of the highest paid college. Like, come on,
It's gotta
man.
be.
That's probably where it starts.
And that's that's before any bonuses or incentives. So here's the thing. After year 3, this is interesting. After year 3, the contract specifically calls for a renegotiation period when either party can request a modification to salary, benefits, or other details.
That
That
might be
is
the nail in the coffin for Colorado, and more detrimental, meaning where he'll leave
yes, exactly.
because he's not taking less money, and
No,
he's not
he's
going to
absolutely
accept
not.
we're giving you less money because we brought you here. You told us something, and that's not what you're showing us. So we got to give you a pay cut, Mister Primetime. Oh no,
I don't.
boss! I'm not taking no pay cut. I'm out of here. Jerry
Here's
Jones called me.
here's the thing, though. Yeah. Well, I, so there's a USA Today article from I think it was last year in September of 2023. They were asking how much Deion Sanders is worth to Colorado. You know, ticket sales, merch sales, and all that stuff. They estimate that he brings in $280 million to the program, to the school. That's insane.
That'll start to decline when people start realizing it's not translating to the field. You'll probably start seeing that this year when you see empty stadium.
Right. Yeah. It's a good point.
So when this third year contract comes, the third year, and we're time to negotiate, they're not gonna go to the beginning to show you what you did when you first got hired here. They're gonna show you the numbers of now, most
Yeah.
recent. We're losing
Right.
money because what you're saying doesn't translate to the field.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
So keep on
Saturday.
talking.
I'm interested. I mean, I'm curious to see what's going to happen with these guys. You know, whether they're gonna, get out of it. But anyway, all right. We haven't talked about this woman in a while. There seems to be a lot of shit happening here with this whole thing. It's just like it's insane. This, and we're talking about Caitlin Clark, who it's. I'm trying to think. Has there been anybody in recent memory that is a goody two shoes like her, that is such a polarizing figure the way she is, and basically through no fault of her own, by the way. At least that's the way I see it. It's everybody else that, for whatever reason, they want to make it about race. They want to make it about her popularity. They want to make it about her fans. But it's just like I don't think I've seen anything about it like this in recent memory. And I'm going to read a little bit from the story, because apparently Shaq and Charles Barkley have been getting into it
Mm-hmm.
about her, and you know, Barkley thinks that the league has been being petty towards her, and then Shaq is like, there's like jealousy going on, that the WNBA players are jealous, and this is like continued throughout the season. And this is what Shaq said. Bear with me; it's a 3-paragraph thing. There's envious jealousy. There's professional jealousy, O'Neal said. Sure, there's a lot of people who are professionally jealous. I am. I'm professionally jealous of a lot of people. I'm professionally jealous of Steph. He makes $60 million. But hey, that's life. You got to also understand that we're not just going to give it to you because everybody else is giving it to you. Yeah, you're great, but you ain't that great yet. Calm down. We still got Diana Taurasi. We still got Aja Wilson. If you're going to give Caitlin props, make sure our girls that are dominating in this league get the same props. Loudmouths like Chuck are talking about hating. It's not hating. As good as Caitlin Clark is, we've had a lot of young ladies who have been doing good, should be well. But I'm going to get
Stop!
grammar
Don't do
this
that.
year,
We're not doing
and
that.
not getting props. People like props, and they want to feel good when you're talking about their league. It's not hating. Everyone has to wait their turn. That's one part of the story. Other part of the story. Angel Reese is done for the season.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what the injury is.
So do I.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Well, I'm not. I don't mean it that way. But you pretty much you're giving Caitlin Clark the Rookie of the Year now, right? Because Angel Reese she's not gonna have a chance to show herself, here down the stretch. Here's where it gets a little dicey. She's got a podcast now, right? Everybody's got a fucking podcast.
Hello.
So she's yeah, she's on the podcast and she starts talking about Caitlin Clark's fans. Now, to preface this, she doesn't mean all of Caitlin Clark's fans. But here's the problem. I don't think this is going to shock anybody, but I bet that the majority of Caitlin Clark's fans are white. That's
Possible.
just it. Where she's from, the cornfields of Iowa to the cornfields of Indiana, middle America, it's very white. I live there. I would know. So, what Angel Reese said on the podcast is that she's getting a lot of like racist comments towards her from Caitlin Clark, I would say defenders. Because if you're a real fan, you shouldn't be doing that. That's just my thing. Also getting sent AI generated images of her like naked
Mm-hmm.
and in like sex positions and stuff like that. And I texted you about it. I'm like, this is the WNBA? Like this shit's happening in the WNBA? Like, what sir, I'm asking you, what the fuck is going on here with this woman? More about this obsession with like Caitlin Clark and how I feel like she's like Dr. Evil in some ways, but yeah, she doesn't do anything to she gets hate for existing, I feel. Anyway, I'm going on here. I'm just curious, like, what do you think about, all this stuff with her? 'Cause we've talked about this before.
Number one, I disagree with Shaq. I think he's taking this the wrong way.
Okay.
And I don't think that it's like people like Charles Barkley that are not giving props to Diana Taurasi and people that have come before Caitlin Clark
Yeah.
and Angel Reese now and Aja Wilson. But I'll keep it to the injury. I maybe saw she got hurt. No one really talked about it. And it really has nothing to do with it. But I just think about what if that was Caitlin Clark that got hurt
That's a
and she was
great
out for the
fucking
year.
point.
The internet would have blew up. And listen, it's no fault of Caitlin Clark's and it's no fault of Angel Reese. But there's a couple incidents through the year that we could look at it and say, and I mentioned it. You're trying to hurt the golden egg?
Right. Yes. Right.
If she gets hurt, whatever money's coming in and being generated stops. And I think both could be true. You could hurt the golden leg, money stops being generated, but you could still be a great player.
Sure.
We're just not watching you.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't say nothing to your talents. And I think that's where Shaq's missing Barkley's point.
Yeah.
All the hoopla this year in the WNBA was because of Caitlin Clark and not the lack of Angel Reese or Aja Wilson or anyone else's lack of talent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone said that.
No, I don't think so either.
It is what it is with Caitlin Clark. I watched college basketball games last year because I wanted to see her play. Because I heard the hype and I said, I want to see how this girl plays.
Mm-hmm.
She played well. She's a good basketball player.
Look at the ratings for that tournament.
And we can't prove it, but let's be realistic about this, everyone. If Caitlin Clark had a press conference yesterday and say, everyone, due to whatever, I'm retiring. Sir, can you tell me what's going to happen?
Oh, God. Forget it.
And it's a hypothetical. I understand that.
Sure.
But the WNBA, the numbers are there. Analytics, everybody. Here's the analytics for you. The WNBA was a dying breed. And I feel like it was a matter of time to the NBA say, you know what, we can't do this anymore. Ladies, you're gonna have to find somewhere else to play.
Yeah.
We gotta shut down shop. So I think Shaq's a little off base with this.
By the way, season-ending surgery on her to repair a fractured left wrist. That's what happened. So,
and I think she's a lefty.
No, it's her right hand according to this picture.
Okay.
Oh no. No, wait. No, sorry, left. Why is she? The way she's in this picture, They must have reversed this or something. Is she a lefty?
I think. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure.
I don't know, man. It's funny because my mom sent me the pin set, and it's been 25 years. She's had that thing for 25 years, and you look at most of those teams aren't even in the league anymore. And it's funny because you talk about the popularity of the WNBA this year and how they're breaking attendance records, they're breaking ratings records, right? They're gonna get a good deal now because they're all caught up with the NBA with their new TV deal. You probably didn't see this, but there was a picture on of video on the Liberty's Instagram account showing. Do you remember when they were playing when they first started? Actually, no. When they were playing a few years ago, they were playing up with like the Westchester Knicks play,
Mm-hmm.
and it looked like a bingo hall.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's in White Plains.
Yeah. Because I think they were transitioning to playing at Barclays.
I know that place.
Yeah, I think because they were transitioning to playing at Barclays,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they showed them playing at the Westchester place, and then they showed the beginning of when they were in Brooklyn, and where there was barely nobody there, and then they showed to where the lower bowl was sold out, but you still have the curtains on the upper thing, okay? And then this year, they're fucking selling out Barclays.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's like fucking powerful. Like, this league is very popular, and don't get me wrong, the Liberty are playing really well this year, and they played really well last year, and they have a really great team. But you're not telling me there's more increased interest because of that woman that's playing in Indiana? I don't know, man.
I'm gonna say something real quick here.
Yeah.
Did Shaq? I don't want to misquote him. Did he say professional jealousy?
Let me bring it back up quick. Where the hell is it? Here we go. There's envious jealousy. There's professional jealousy. Sure, there's a lot of people who are professionally jealous. I am. I'm professionally jealous of a lot of people. I'm professionally jealous of Steph Curry. He makes 60 million. But hey,
Period.
that's life.
That's life. And he also said later in that thing, it's not hate, directing his comment towards.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this is mostly what, and I wanted to give you exactly what it says here, and tell me if you agree.
Mm-hmm.
Jealousy is a complex emotion that can be defined as a feeling of anger, resentment, or bitterness towards someone or something that you want but don't have. It can also be described as a feeling of insecurity, fear, or concern over a lack of safety or possessions. Shaq, stop it. Because if you sum up jealousy in one word, what does it sound like? By definition, sounds like hate.
Yeah.
So he might have chose his words wrong, so I'll give him that. Because a lot of people, they mention it today, they're jealous of the players today because of the money they make.
Oh, of course they are. I say it all the time.
So guess what? Take it on the chin. You played sports in the wrong era. Would you be dominant today? Sure. But you're not 20-year-old Shaq today. You were 20-year-old Shaq 30 years ago. You got to get over it.
Yeah.
You can't use jealousy and it's not hate in the same sentence or in the same paragraph. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm done.
I get it. All right. We are at the end of our show. Long one this week. That's what she said.
Woo.
Hey, we had a lot to talk about this week. I don't think this will not be as long next week. I don't think so. Anyway, so keeping with the NFL theme for our Mount Rushmore, we are going to do our Mount Rushmore of old school NFL uniforms, I guess / logos, because they kind of go hand in hand. So I actually, the funny thing is, when I was thinking about this today, two of them immediately came to mind. I won't say which ones they were, and I struggled. Oh,
I think all of them came to mind for me right away. I've always liked these. Yeah, and I got a couple of what's the word?
runner up.
type of things. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
what's the word for that?
Honorable mention.
Honorable mentions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. You go. You go ahead and start because I had a hard time with this. So you go
So,
ahead.
I'll say this. Let me ask you this. Let's see if you know what. I'll save that for last.
Okay.
So I'll go from bottom to top as I wrote it on my sheet, and we'll
Sure.
go from there. So
Okay.
honorable mentions. Honorable mentions. Houston Oilers. I like their mention. I like their uniform.
They were actually honorable mention for you. See, they actually made my. Anyway, I'll get into it. Yeah.
I
Go ahead.
like them, and oh my god, I'm drawing a blank right now. I should have wrote it down. Anyway, we'll leave that. We'll leave that as my only honorable mention
Sure.
unless I think of it.
Yeah.
Number 4, the old school Giants uniform.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm surprised by that.
I love that uniform. With the Giants written across.
Yes, I like that one
The
too.
I
Yes.
I love that uniform.
Yeah.
The color
Yeah.
scheme, the way they did it, I loved it.
Yeah. That's a good one.
This you might knowing you might be like, blech.
No, I know what you're gonna do because they almost made my list. I know where you're
Let's
going with
see.
this.
The creamsicles, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, okay. No, that's not. Okay, here's my question to you. Because do you think that this got more popular as time went on? Because I feel like back then they were like you said. Do you think it got more popular as time went on, as we got away from those uniforms?
Maybe for some people, I've always liked them, and I was
Mhm.
always kind of like out there with like uniforms and stuff that I liked, wacky stuff. People may call that whack. I don't know. I just always liked them,
Yeah. Okay. I
and it
respect that.
reminded me of the delicious orange creamsicle.
Jesus Christ.
The number 2 is the old school Broncos uniform
Oh, the orange, right?
with the D and the Bronco blowing smoke.
Yeah, with the D.
Yeah, with the big D. That's
Oh Jesus, I'm
I
dying.
like I like I like that uniform a
That's a
lot.
good one.
I like that uniform a lot. And my favorite uniform of all time, can you guess?
Oh God, don't say the
I'll give you the conference.
okay.
AFC.
Oh, AFC.
It's my favorite uniform of all time.
AFC Steelers? No. Tell me.
The Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
And I kind of like Boomer Esiason too as quarterback when I saw him play. But more so I like the uniforms. I like the helmet. I like the scheme of I like the color, the black and the orange. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my
I
favorite uniform of all time.
I always like the stripes on the helmet.
Yeah, I like that. That's where they got me.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. You and I have a completely different list, which is
We
good.
got all NFC teams.
Uh I've got one team. Let me see. No, because I have the Oilers on mine.
Oh, okay.
So I should have kept them for last because I think they're number one. Let me just go bottom to top here. So this is gonna sound weird
Oh boy.
because they come off as very plain, but there's something about it that looked clean to me. It was the Detroit Lions when they used to wear like the silver helmet and it was just silver and didn't have the
Oh
logo on
yes,
it.
yes, yes,
It
yes.
was the ones that they used to wear for like Thanksgiving
Yeah,
back in the day, and I
yes.
think they still do wear them.
Yes. I don't even know when that uniform was like when there was their what they wore every Sunday. That was
Yeah, I can't
I don't know
remember,
what decade that was,
but I think
but
they
I know which
wore
one you're talking about. It was a
yeah,
solid silver.
yeah, the solid silver. I don't know. It went well with like the silver pants. They had the silver pants and they had the blue tops. I don't know. It was just a very clean look. Not necessarily with the
Not
logo
too much
because
logos on it, just
yeah,
plain. But
it was
not, yeah, I see what
yeah,
you're saying.
it was very very old school. So I would say that's number 4. You're actually going to be surprised at one of them here. Number 3.
Patriots, the old school
No.
one. Oh,
The red old school Falcons uniforms.
oh my God, with the red helmet and the black falcon.
Yep, and the Black Falcon. Yeah, dude, I love those. Those are good looking. And I'm looking at a picture of it right now. I had they had 3 stripes on the side, right? Down the pants. It was 2 red stripes and in the middle was a black stripe going down the middle of the stripe. So Those were good ones. Yes, number 2 is the old school Patriots uniforms, bro. They were good uniforms, man.
I just wouldn't put that on my list for
No,
obvious
I know.
reasons. Even though I did like the uniform, but no one heard that.
Yeah.
With the guy hiking the ball, the Patriot.
People still hate that. Yeah, that they got rid of that because they hate the way this thing looks. What do they call it? Somebody referred to it as they call it the flying Elvis. Is what that looks like. I guess
probably because it reminded him of Steve Grogan.
Yeah. And then the Oilers, man, they're number one. You look back at the powder blue uniforms, and I do miss those uniforms. I'm looking at them now. It was more the home ones because the home ones were like the powder blue.
Yeah, that was a jersey.
Yes, yeah. By the
pants
way,
were white with like a powder blue and red trim. I think on the legs.
Well, you know who has a good honorable mention for me is the Chargers with the powder blue. Remember the powder blue?
No, the powder blue. Yeah.
Yeah, those are good ones. Those are good uniforms. But yeah, that was a good one. We got to think of something for next week. I'm gonna have to start. I gotta start thinking about that. What we can do for next week. By the way, before we let everybody go, I will say, if you guys do use our bets, can you let us know? Because I'm so curious. If you're dumb.
I got one coworker that's going to use them because he was asking me.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna let him know to keep a lookout, even though he does. Check us out.
We'll have to. I'll have to keep track of this. I'll have to go back and listen to this particular section just to make sure, because I wrote mine down.
So did I. I wrote mine down as well.
Well, you know what? Just text me your picks.
Okay.
Yeah, just so I can keep track, so that next week we can, when we go for our picks for week 3, we can see how we did for week 2. So, yep, that is going to do it for episode number 10 of Two Dummies That Just Watch, a sports podcast between friends. I am Will Hernandez, here for Lee J. Parilla, and we will see you next week. Peace out.
Later.